How is it going, everybody? We are live inside the Tyson Event Center here and in Fleet Farm Arena for some Sioux City Bandits playoff football here in the CIF. This is the semifinal matchup. The winner of this game will advance to the Champions Bowl next week to take on either the Salina Liberty or the Billings Outlaws. But this week is all that matters right now as the Bandits take on their bitter I-29 rival, the Omaha Beef. This is a rematch of last year's semifinal matchup where the Beef came out with a 1-point victory before going on to the Champions Bowl. We'll see if history repeats itself or rewrites itself here in the Tyson Event Center. First time we have a playoff game in the Tyson in 7 years. Here's a little background information coming in. The Bandits are the 1 seed in the playoffs. They are 9-1 overall record, 4-1 at home, and they have won back-to-back games following their lone loss of the season to the Salina Liberty. Now the Omaha Beef on the other end of things are the 4 seed in the playoffs. They have an 8-3 overall record, 3-2 on the road, but they do carry a very hot 5-game win streak into this matchup, including their first-round victory over the Southwest Kansas Storm by a score of 27-21. The last time these Beef lost a game was right here in Sioux City, April 30th. What was honestly one of the craziest games I've ever had the privilege to watch. The Bandits would come out victorious in that one, but the Beef have not lost since, and we'll get more into that game in a little bit because it's one of the most entertaining games to ever watch, and it's a precursor for hopefully something we can see today, a lot of fireworks and the action-packed CIF. Looking at the all-time series between these two teams, it's as close as you'd expect it to be with two bitter rivals like this. 23-22, Sioux City leads the series since the 2002 season. The Bandits 12-10 on their home field against the Beef, but 0-3 in the playoffs against the Omaha Beef are the Sioux City Bandits. They're going to try to put a 1 in that win column today and move on to the Champions Bowl. Looking at each team's playoff run, how they got to this situation, Sioux City got to sit at home, relax, rehabilitate maybe a little bit. I know a couple players were dealing with dings and nicks throughout the season, getting a week off after their 77-7 regular season finale victory over the Rapid City Marshals 2 weeks ago. Omaha had a little bit tougher. They had to go through the Southwest Kansas Storm in the first round of the playoffs. The game ended 27-21. It wasn't ever truly in doubt for the Beef. It did get to a 17-14 game at one point, but 27-21 the final score, and that was only after a late Storm touchdown made it a one-score game, as it was 27-14 shortly before that. Now we get into the fun stuff. We get to talk about the last time we saw these two teams meet and why it's important that you stay tuned in today for this game, as that matchup between the Beef and the Bandits saw a 42-40 scoreline with 40 seconds left in the game balloon to a 60-49 Bandit victory after both teams traded touchdowns back and forth, and then a late defensive touchdown by the Bandits on a end-of-game desperation hook and ladder play by the Omaha Beef. We'll get to some leaders in that game. Of course, quarterback Lorenzo Brown went 12 for 21, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also carried the ball 6 times for 46 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. The only real mistake Brown made was one of his only 3 interceptions on the season came in that game against the Beef. Another offensive player that was big in that game was Fred Bruno. 4 catches for 61 yards, 2 of those ending up in 6. Of course, Dejon Emery. You can't talk about the Bandits, without talking about the man on the D-line, Dejon Emery. 7 tackles in that one, 4 TFLs, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 field goal block. And you might as well say a partridge in a pear tree for Emery on that day. Across the way for the Beef, Andrew Jackson, 23 for 32 for throwing in that contest, 218 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, however, for Jackson on that day, as he was not given the presidential treatment by the Bandits defense. Deshaun Jones was the leading rusher for the team, 10 carries, 34 yards, did get 3 rushing touchdowns, however, so that's something to pay attention to. Of course, the wide receiving core, Montero Dubose, Dante DeSalle, Rashad Pargo, and Tyler Jones in that game. all had more than 3+ catches. Jones, DuBose, and DeSalle all had 60+ yards, and Jones, DeSalle, and Pargo all found the end zone. So just keep an eye on the receiving core today. The Beef throw it around the lot quite often. It is their go-to on attack. It's more of an air raid style offense, or as air raid as you can get here in indoor football. On the defensive end for the Beef, Trey Dudley-Giles led the team with 9 tackles, 1 TFL, and Jordan Jones, who leads the team overall in tackles, had 8, 7 of them solo, was a one-man wrecking crew on that afternoon. Let's get into some team stats here as we're still kind of waiting for the lineup announcement here for the Bandits. They're getting set to take the field here shortly. And if you hear some cowbells in the background, a lot of Beef fans made the trip quite a bit. They rented a bus, did the Omaha Beef, to get their fans in the stands here in Sioux City. Interesting to see here. We'll see how that kind of affects everything as well, as the Beef fans are known to be very loud on their home field. Let's see if they can bring some of that excitement to the Tyson Event Center and how that compares to the Sioux City faithful. Looking at some team stats in almost every major offensive category, the Bandits are top of the league. First in points per game, first in rushing yards per game as well at 93.1 per game, 51.4 points per game. This is a high-powered offense that is built off of the run and using that to set up the deep pass game, opening up ways down the field. We've seen that a lot from the Bandits this season. Omaha does hold the advantage in one offensive category, and that is passing yards per game, as the Beef lead the league in that category, 157.6 passing yards per game. On the defensive end, more of the same, where the Bandits lead in points and rushing defense, only 30.4 points per game allowed, second only to the Liberty. They are 4th in the league in rushing yards per game allowed at 65.9, and the Beef win the passing yard allowed category at 121.5 per game, which is 4th. Of course, the key on every game is to outscore your opponents. So to look at scoring differential, the Bandits hold by far the best scoring differential in the league, kind of boosted by that 70-point victory to end the regular season, as they have a plus 210 to lead the league. The Beef have a plus 120, which puts them in 4th. Look at some more miscellaneous stats. Sacks, both teams are tied for first in the league at 12 apiece. But turnovers is the big one for the Bandits. 18 interceptions is tied for third, including one of the best interception getters, if I'm using that right, in the league in Laranji Vason, who's 7 picks in only 5 games this year. First in fumble recoveries as well are the Bandits, 10 for them on the year. Total turnovers forced, they lead that category as well with 28 on the season. The Beef forced some turnovers of their own. It's just not near the level of the Bandits, as they've only forced 16 this season. We'll see how all of that turns out today. Now we get into the nitty-gritty, the players to watch on today's matchup. We got 2 offense, 2 defense, and I've thrown out an X factor for each team as well. And I've already kind of cheated because the Bandits got 2 X factors, 2 guys I really want to keep an eye on to see if they make an impact in their first and second games for the Bandits this season, respectively. Starting for the guarantees, the guys you know you're going to see out on the field performing for the Bandits. Quarterback Lorenzo Brown, 1,071 passing yards this season, puts him 3rd in the league. His 3 interceptions is the fewest among starters, and his 24 touchdowns is also 3rd in the CIF. Also an avid runner is Lorenzo Brown. He's top 5 in rushing touchdowns with 9, and he has 206 rushing yards on 35 carries, 5.9 yards per carry for the quarterback from the University of Sioux Falls. Another player on offense to look out for is the franchise, Fred Bruno, all-purpose yards every way he can get them on offense, either catching or rushing, and of course in the kick return game as well. Let's start with receiving. 23 catches on the season, 275 yards, 12 per catch, 7 touchdowns through the air and on the ground. 33 carries for Bruno, 145 yards there, 4.4 per carry, and 5 more touchdowns on the ground. His 560 all-purpose yards leads the team and is 7th in the league. Moving to the defensive side of things for the Bandits, Dejon Emery is a name you gotta watch every single week when he suits up for the Bandits. 46 total tackles, 17 TFLs, 6 sacks, and 5 field goal blocks. The TFLs, sacks, and field goal blocks all lead the league this season. Second player to look at for the Bandits on defense is going to be Laranji Vason. 32 tackles, 7 interceptions, puts him 3rd in the league. but he has only played 5 of the Bandits' 10 games this season. You got to imagine what those stats would look like if he had a full season, if he didn't spend time on the IR after an injury early in the year. I'll save the X Factors for last and move to the beef on offense. Andrew Jackson, of course, you're going to have to watch him. He's the most prolific statistically of all quarterbacks in the CIF this season. 1,720 yards through the air, 156 per game. Both of those first in the league, and he's second in the league in touchdowns with 27. But throwing the ball around that much, you're going to make mistakes. Andrew Jackson, of those top 3 quarterbacks, of course, Lorenzo Brown being one of them with Jackson and with Charles McCullum, all 3 of them who have been very good this season at the quarterback position, the 3 best quarterbacks in the league this season. Andrew Jackson has the most picks out of all of them with those 14. So maybe look at them to lean on the run game a little bit. They don't do it often, but Deshaun Jones is good when he's needed. 108 carries on the season for him, 341 total yards, 3.2 per carry, and 19 touchdowns on the ground to go with 18 catches for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air for Deshaun Jones. Getting to the defensive end of things, you got to look at Jordan Jones. Got a couple Joneses back-to-back here. Kind of D-line linebacker hybrid. Has been lining up at linebacker most of the season lately for the Beef. 69 total tackles leads the team, 42 of them solo, 3 TFLs, and 1.5 sacks from his defensive position. And, of course, defensive back number 21, Trey Dudley Giles, 50 tackles on the season, 34 of them solo, and 6 interceptions for the D-back. Put him 4th in the CIF. Kind of saw a man run on the field maybe with a cape. For you eagle-eyed Bandits fans, you'll notice that is Tyler Knight, Superman himself, making his return to the Bandits. And I'll bury the lead a little bit. We're going to talk about him in a moment as we get into the X Factor, starting with the Bandits. And I gave him 2 because Ben Peaster has been sensational was sensational in the 1 game he played this season, and has been sensational in his career from the defensive line spot. Of course, 6 tackles, 1.5 TFLs, 1 sack in only 1 game this season. He had 40 tackles, 19 for loss, and 10.5 sacks last season. And Tyler Knight, at 37 years of age, his career accolades speak for themselves. From the SWAC at Mississippi Valley State all the way back in the mid-2000s to today, he's an Indoor Football Hall of Famer. He's a 5-time Indoor Football Champion, 2-time IFL Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-IFL First Team. And he was voted the 2nd best player overall in the IFL back in 2013. That's a big get for the Bandits. Let's see if he contributes on his opening night. And, of course, an X Factor for the Beef is going to be Dante DeSalle. Just reinstated from IR. He's only played 3 games this season, has 10 catches for 100-plus yards. But against the Bandits earlier this year, 6 catches for 66 yards. We'll see if he being reintroduced only adds to a very impressive receiving core for the Beef. That's going to do it so far for the Sioux City Bandits pregame show as we get off here for the national anthem. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF Network. Welcome back here on the Bandits pregame show here on the CIF Network. I am Braden Butler. I'd like to thank you for joining me this evening, as this is a semifinal matchup in the CIF playoffs between the Sioux City Bandits and the Omaha Beef. The winner of this game will move on to the Champions Bowl next week. We'll see where it is hosted and everything, as seeding plays a factor in that. But this is an important game for both of these teams. This is a rematch of last year's CIF semifinal game. The Beef would win that, going on to the Champions Bowl against the Salina Liberty. Liberty, who are currently in a contest with the Billings Outlaws to decide the other end of things, who's all shaken out next week in the Champions Bowl. Let's take one more look here at the all-time series between these two teams, because this rivalry cannot be understated, can't be overstated, can't be either stated. Let's just put it that way, as this is a massive rivalry between these two teams, these I-29 rivals. The Beef packed a bus full of fans to come up here to Sioux City. You don't pack a bus full of fans unless you got something entertaining to watch after about a 2.5-hour drive. Sioux City leads the all-time series 23-22 since 2002. It looks like deuces are wild there. The Bandits 12-10 at home against the Beef, but they have never beaten the Omaha Beef in the playoffs, no matter what league both teams have been in. We'll see if that can change today, as after becoming CIF champions back in 2015, the Bandits have gone on a title drought, looking to end that one here after a 7-year wait to bring a trophy home to Sioux City. You know, Sioux City could be dubbed Title Town recently. Of course, the Sioux City Musketeers, who share a building with the Sioux City Bandits, brought home the Clark Cup last month. Now the Bandits are trying to join them in bringing home a championship as well. And of course, the other friendly neighbor here in the city of Sioux City, Sioux City Explorers, just took a series victory not too long ago against the team on top of their league, the Kansas City Monarchs. So things are looking up around Sioux City sports-wise. We'll see if the Bandits can keep that momentum today against the Beef. Getting the opening orders here from the referee. We're getting the coin toss as well. We'll see how this shakes out between. Looks like Slugger, Mintz, Bruno, and Brown are the captains, the ones doing the coin toss today for the Bandits. Andrew Jackson makes the call for the Beef. And the Bandits win the toss. They defer to the second half. Beef will get the ball. Looks like the Beef will be moving left to right from the main camera at the top of section 103 when we get going here in Sioux City. Minute 30 until these CIF playoffs start. So the CIF playoff matchup starts here between these two bitter rivals, and it will start with a Greg Connery kick. Might be able to hear the Beef fans already getting into it. It's pretty packed house here in Sioux City today between the Beef fans and the Bandits fans, as we get a little pregame hype package here for the Bandits. The Bandits in their pregame hype video. I think the narrator in the background said it best. The Bandits did not come this far to come this far, but neither did the Beef. We'll see who takes that W today and moves on to the Champions Bowl next week against either the Salina Liberty or the Billings Outlaws, depending on the outcome of that game. Which, when available, I will have an update on the score there. Connery, low kick. Bounces just about the midfield stripe. It's corralled by a Beef player. Trying to find some space. Looks like it's going to be wrapped up at the knees by Sammy Epps, among others. And we get to see the Bandits defense for the first time today. That was Trey Dudley Giles on the return for the Beef. We're going to see Andrew Jackson. We'll see how that shakes out. You might notice down on the field, Andrew Jackson does command his team very well. It was very evident in pregame warmups. You might notice down on the field, Tyler Jones not with the Omaha team. He is signed with the IFL, so he is inactive today. He's off the roster. We'll see how the receiving corps steps up in his absence. Jackson takes the opening snap, fires right side, caught by his man, pushed out of bounds by Xavier Span along the boards. That initial catch is going to be made by Norman Darden, the 5'7" wide receiver out of Seton Hall. Jackson, the quarterback, also went to Seton Hall. Jackson's on the shotgun. It looks like Darden moves to the backfield on his right as he takes the snap. Handoff to Darden. Almost wrapped up at the ankles, but he squirts away from a couple Bandits defenders. Laronji Vason, he's dragging Laronji Vason. No, ball taken away by Laronji Vason. Big defensive play early by the Bandits. Laronji Vason with another takeaway on the season. He's got 7 picks and now just ripping it away from the Beef to set up the Bandits' opening offensive possession. What a play there by Vason. We get a replay of it. The momentum was never stopped on the runner Darden, so there was no reason for any referee to blow the whistle. First down for Sioux City. Mentioned a receiver absence on the Beef side of things. You might still notice for Sioux City, Brandon Shepard not active today, still on the short-term IR. Would be eligible to return before the Champions Bowl next week, but we'll see how that all shakes out. Brown breaks the snap. Looks like Prohaska is going to be the back on his left as he moves right to left now. Looks like Bruno, Andre London, and Damon Powell are the receivers. Powell and Bruno in motion. Quick fire pass out to Andre London on the left side. Gets a couple blocks. Decent gain to start the day for the Bandits there. A game of about 4 or 5 on first down. Looks like we're going to bring up second down. It's listed at second down and 7. Looks more like second down and 6. Judgment call sometimes here in Sioux City. Lorenzo Brown in the shotgun formation once again with Prohaska on his right. London and Powell in motion. Handoff up the gut to Prohaska. He's got some space. Breaking loose. He's going to be eventually wrapped up at the hips by a defensive back for Omaha, but that's going to be a fresh set for the Sioux City Bandits off that run up the gut by Drew Prohaska. Brendan Holmes with the touchdown-saving tackle, in all honesty, wrapping Prohaska up at the hips. First and 10 here, waiting on the chains to get set. All the players are ready to go. We're just waiting on the chain gang. And the referee's letting them go. Mungro, the center, looks to snap back to Brown in the shotgun formation. Handoff up the gut to Prohaska. Again, got more space. Another almost first down. I think they're going to give him another fresh set as Drew Prohaska up the gut, dives forward, and puts the Bandits in the Powerball red zone presented by the Iowa Lottery for the first time tonight. Now they're going to give him a first and goal. They're going to say he got down exactly at the 10. Brown in the shotgun again. We'll see if they go to Prohaska a third time in a row or switch it up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Prohaska up the middle. This time he's stuffed by a horde of Beef defensive linemen. Still gets about a yard there, does Drew Prohaska. Prohaska, who's the second leading rusher in Sioux City Bandits history, adds another yard to his tally there. Brown sending his men to the line. fake the handoff up the middle this time. Nebraska. Oh, a little Ruski play there to Blake Frank, the guard. He catches it for a gain of about 4. Might give him 5 up to the 4-yard line here. It's going to bring up 3rd and goal here from the Powerball Red Zone, presented to you by Iowa Lottery. It's a little sneak play there to Blake Frank. They've busted that out a couple times this season, have the Bandits. Brown's going to go under center Mungro for the first time tonight. Handoff, jet sweep to Fred Bruno. Got some space on the right side, and Bruno fights for the end zone, gets pushed up along the boards. No signal from the refs yet. No, they're going to say he was out at the 1. It's going to bring up 4th and short. Bruno asking the referees to replay it and get another look at it. As we get an initial replay here, maybe this angle will be a little better. Bruno off the sideline, saying he stuck the ball out before he was up against the boards. Sioux City fans are asking for a replay. A couple now offensive coordinator Jared DeGeorgia eventually will get the challenge flag out of his pocket. The referee acknowledges it, and we are going to have to review that play there. Could be an early momentum shift for the Bandits. That's from where it looked to me the ball crossed the plane before Bruno made contact with the boards. Here's some Bandits fans upset with the call early on here. Luckily, with the institution of replay, they can reverse the call if the refs got it wrong. The previous play officially under review as the head referee declares so. It's been an active start to this game. We're only about 5 minutes and 15 seconds into it. We had a strip by Laronji Vason on a run by Norman Darden. Set up this Bandits drive. It's been on the back of Drew Prohaska. He's got a couple runs for 10-plus on this drive, and now it looks like Fred Bruno could have got in as they go to review it. As it stands at 0-0, but it could as soon be 6-0 when the referees step back out onto the field. Looks like we got a little bit of fan engagement here as I'm trying to get an update personally on the Salina Liberty Billings Outlaws game. As Salina leads in that one down in Kansas in the second quarter, 7-0. Low-scoring affair after 1 in Salina. We'll see which of those teams can make it out to the Champions Bowl to face the winner of this contest. Liz waiting to put an exact number on it. 3 carries for Prohaska for 24 yards. He had a long of 13. He's getting 8 yards per carry. And Bruno on that last handoff on the jet sweep could get the first touchdown of the game. Referees still in the tunnel, still reviewing the play. Play like this early, you want to get it right. Bandits could have a decision on their hands if this does not get called a touchdown. It's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. You got one of the most accurate kickers in the league in Greg Connery from close distance. But we'll see what happens here as the referees have retaken the field. We'll get an official ruling here shortly. As soon as the head official said, however, when discussing the call, the Sioux City Bandits fans got to their feet and started cheering. They knew that however meant Fred Bruno was in for 6. 6-0 Bandits league now. Greg Connery on to kick the extra point. Andre London will be doing the hold. Braden Mintz going to be the long snapper here for the Bandits. Hold is down, kick is up, and good for Connery as it finds its way to the stands to a couple Bandit faithful. 7-0 here, 9:23 to go in quarter number 1. as an early mistake by the Beef, turning the ball over on a fumble by Norman Darden, leads to a long Bandits drive that gets in for 6 off the back of Drew Prohaska's 3 carries for 24 yards. And, of course, Fred Bruno punching it in with a 4-yard carry for the touchdown. I know only one drive into this game for both teams, but the leading receiver in this contest between the Bandits and the Beef, 2 of the best passing offenses in the league, is offensive lineman Blake Frank. Only 1 catch for 5 yards. Of course, there's still plenty of game yet to be played, but you got to give love to the Hog Mollies when they get their name in the stat sheet. Because unfortunately, an offensive lineman, don't get your name called that often unless you're making a mistake. So he deserves it there. Connery's in to kick off here. Deshaun Jones, one of the deep men for the Omaha Beef. Alongside him is Chris Perry. Perry, a 5'10 defensive back out of Michigan. See down there, Tyler Knight on the kickoff coverage here. See if Superman can make a play on the kickoff here as Connery gets this one high elevation. It's going to go over the boards out the back of the end zone. Waved off here for the referees. Since that ball did not bounce before going over the boards out the back of the end zone, the ball will be placed at midfield. If it had bounced somewhere on the field and then hopped over, the ball would be placed at the 5-yard line. Just a little interesting trick in the rules there, of course. With a 50-yard shortened field, if every touchback started at the 5-yard line, the kickers would just be booting them over the boards all night long. Andrew Jackson, El Presidente, if you will, in the shotgun formation. Empty set, takes the snap, looking out to his left a little bit, firing deep down the field, just over the outstretched hand of a couple Bandits defenders. Caught by the Beef there for the touchdown, and that's going to be Montero Dubose. Beef answer immediately there on the connection between Jackson and Dubose. Defensive coordinator Marlon Loban upset with a couple of his defensive backs right now as they just kind of ended up in the same spot as you can see on the replay. Didn't cover over the top as Dubose was able to find his way into the end zone, and we're already potentially knotted back up here depending on this Jeremy Williams extra point. Hold is down. Williams up and good. Looks like Dejon Emery, talking to the referee, wanted a holding on that field goal attempt. He's not going to get it. We're knotted up at 7 apiece, 8-11 into the first quarter. And the exchanging of pleasantries already. Gentlemen, we're only 7 minutes into the game. That's not an indicator for how this game is going to be. Back and forth, a little bit chippy. These players in the CIF, they play fast and loose, and they ain't afraid to let their words speak some words as well. They don't just let their actions do the talking. So we're knotted up at 7 apiece here with 8:11 to go in the first quarter. It looks like Jeremy Williams will be kicking off here. Damon Powell, Drew Prohaska back deep to return. Stationed about the 25 to 20-yard line in that middle area are Kamal Cass and Xavier Spann. The opening kickoff from Connery ended up in that middle area, so maybe make note if this is the first kick of the game for Jeremy Williams, ends up in a similar spot as he marches off his steps. Williams getting a big run up from the back of the end zone. Low kick driven, bounces at the 15. It's going to fall into the hands of Drew Prohaska. Prohaska trying to find some blockers, gets upended, knocked down at the 19-yard line, and that'll bring up first down and 10 for the Bandits here as they start their second drive of this game. Now they're going to say he fell forward to the 20, judging from that ball spot. The change was set up at about the 19. Now they're moving to the 20 here. We're getting it set up and ready to go. So we're under 8 to go here in quarter one. Shotgun formation, Lorenzo Brown. Bruno was in the backfield, now he motions out of it. Low snap, but Brown over the middle of the field, tipped up and picked off by the Beef. Lorenzo Brown trying to bring down the defensive back for the Beef. Now a little help from Prohaska brings him to the turf. It's not Prohaska, excuse me, that was Powell. What a good look at the replay here. It looked almost like the defender got there early on Bruno. But excellent concentration there by the Beef defensive back to go forward and pull that one in while lunging. Definitely looked like the defensive back got there a little early. But mistakes have been traded on both sides. That's going to go down as an interception for Jordan Jones, the linebacker. Call him a defensive back originally for the Beef. Bandits defense can't dwell on that as Jackson is in the shotgun. Deshaun Jones on his left. Jones leads the league in rushing touchdowns, and here in the red zone, you wonder if they could go to him again. They will. Handoff right side. Deshaun Jones got some blockers, wrapped up by a gang of Bandits at the goal line, but he falls forward into the end zone for the second touchdown of the game for the Beef, as now they take a 13-7 lead, as both teams have now scored off of mistakes by their opposition. Jeremy Williams on to kick the extra point. Could put the Beef up 7 here. Get a little stoppage in the action here. Everybody's getting set here as Williams looks to put up the extra point. Extra point up and good by Williams. The video boards have gone off here in the Tyson Event Center. See what exactly is up with that. But 14-7 here. Bandits trail the Beef in the CIF semifinals. Head coach Irv Strobing still discussing with the referee as the boards are back on here in the Tyson Event Center. Jeremy Williams looking to kick off again here. It feels like he just did this only moments ago. Powell and Prohaska still the deep men. Same formation basically across the board for the receiving team of the Bandits. 6:23 to go here in quarter one. Little update from Salina. The Liberty lead the Outlaws 13-0 now, but the Outlaws are driving close to scoring position. Low driven kick here by Williams. Bounces at about the 5-yard line and hits the boards. They're going to say it went out in the end zone. It was really close to that in line, but it looked like it got into the end zone before bouncing out. By rule there, that is a touchback since the ball bounced and then went out in the end zone. It's interesting, mentioned that earlier on the Greg Connery kickoff, and now it comes back against the Bandits as they're setting up 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. Andrew Jackson in 2 offensive drives has only thrown 2 passes. We'll see how that shakes out when the Beef get back on the field on offense. But right now, Brown in control of the Bandits offense. Handoff up the middle to Kamal Cass, going off the right side. Puts a foot in the ground, cuts back inside for a 1st down and more. He stood up. The pile is getting pushed from both sides. Whistle finally blows. And Cass, showing that he still has the ball, did not have it stripped from him as in a mirror, so to speak, of what happened to the Beef earlier on. That's going to be a fresh set for the Bandits. 1st and 10 from about the 17, 18-yard line. Bandits break the huddle. Sammy Epps in the game and Damon Powell are going to be the receivers in motion. Bruno on the line and Cass in the backfield. Brown takes the snap, low snap, fakes the handoff to Cass. And he's forced to roll. No, fires quickly to Cass, but it's just off his hands as Cass wasn't expecting it. Falls incomplete. Bring up 2nd down and 10 for Sioux City. Brown's going to break the huddle. Looks like he's going to go under center. Only been under center one time today. It did lead to a Fred Bruno touchdown on the jet sweep. They run the same formation, but they hand it off up the middle to Cass. Gain of about 2 there. Gets him to the 20. Bring up 3rd and 8. Clock is going to tick under 4 minutes to go by the time the Bandits break the huddle and get back to the line of scrimmage. 14-7 your score. These teams have traded turnovers and they've traded touchdowns so far. 3rd and 8. We'll see if this is the first real defensive stand of the game. Brown in the shotgun, splits Cass out to his left. He's going to go to an empty set. Now Bruno in motion, sweeping motion. Defense jumped early there, and the whistles are going to blow. That's going to march off 5 free yards. That's the first Fleet Farm penalty flag of the game here. Of course, sometimes when the players jump off sides, they give a free play, but due to the bad snap and due to the fact that the perpetrator of that penalty, Jared Harris, had a free shot at Lorenzo Brown off of his jump, whistles blew it dead. Gives the Bandits now a 3rd and 3 here, much more manageable than their 3rd and 8 from a moment ago. Brown lining up under center. Cass the deep back. Pitch out to Fred Bruno off the right side. He's got some blockers. He's going to be pushed out up along the boards, but it's going to be a 1st down, fresh set for the Bandits at about the 18-yard line as they cross the midfield stripe. The running game is what has all worked well this season for the Bandits. They're the best running team in yardage per game in the CIF. Prohaska's got 24, Cass has 15, and Fred Bruno has 11 rushing yards, respectively, for those 3. Cass the deep back as Brown sends his men to the line. This is going to pass out of this, fires quick right side. Fred Bruno out near the 15, now down to the 12 before he's hit out of bounds. Decent little gain there for Fred Bruno. Cuts the yardage needed in half for a new set of downs, and they're knocking on the doorstep of that Powerball red zone. Brown making it a habit of lining under center here as he gets up underneath Mungro, sends his men in motion. Handoff, jet sweep, Fred Bruno cuts back inside of the 10, gets into the end zone again for Fred Bruno. 2 jet sweep touchdowns on the ground for the franchise, makes it 14-13. Bandits still trail, but a Greg Connery extra point could put this back up all knotted up. Another replay there. Great blocking by Sammy Epps down the field. You see a little bit of a flex from him there as well. Epps playing lead blocker for Bruno, and he took the defensive back almost over the boards. Snap is good. Hold is down. Kick up and good. Dead center for Greg the Leg Connery. We're tied up at 14 apiece with 1:15 to go in quarter number 1. Bandits have thrown more passes than the Beef so far, as they've only thrown the ball 2 times, have the Omaha Beef. Thing is, though, the Beef have only run 4 plays in this, and we're tied up at 14 apiece, while the Bandits have run 13 to get their 14 points. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of fan engagement here during this promotion. We'll be back in just a little bit. After this, you're watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF Network. Welcome back, everybody, here on the CIF Network as we're getting back going here in the Tyson Event Center, Fleet Farm Arena. 14-14, we're all tied up with 1:15 left in the first quarter. We've seen turnovers by both offenses. We've seen mistakes made by both defenses that have given up big plays. We've seen a lot of the franchise. Fred Bruno in the rushing game, 3 carries for 23 yards, 2 touchdowns, as he has all the points so far today for the Bandits. On the other side of things, the Beef have a long ball from Andrew Jackson to Montero Dubose to score one of their touchdowns on a 4-yard rush by Deshaun Jones. High end over end kicked by Connery. He's going to be fielded at about the 3-yard line. Perry trying to find some space, spins off of a tackler. He's eventually wrapped up there. Looks like Tyler Knight in there on the tackle. Drew Prohaska was in the pile as well. 1st and 10 for the Beef. They're going to line up at about the 17, 18-yard line, in between there somewhere. Looks like the clock's going to dip under a minute to go when we get going back live action. Another CIF playoff update. They're at the 1-minute warning in the second quarter between the Salina Liberty and the Billings Outlaws down in Salina, Kansas. 13-0 Liberty lead in that one as they're trying to make it to back-to-back Champions Bowls. We'll see who they could be facing here as the Beef got some penalty yardage marched off against them, so that's going to knock them back 1st and 10 inside their own 10 at the 9-yard line. Jackson's going to go empty set here. Looks like Dubose and Pargo are going to be the men heading to the line of scrimmage. Jackson sends his men in motion, fires quick right side. Miscommunication between Jackson and his wide receiver there, as it looks like Jackson was looking for a quick curl route, a stop route there about 5 yards down the field, as his receiver was running headlong for the end zone. That was Alexander Noble, 6'3" wide receiver out of Urbany University. See him patting his chest there as he was walking back to the huddle. That's my bad. He was taking responsibility there for the miscommunication between him and his quarterback, Jackson. That's going to do it here for quarter number 1, 14-14 here in the CIF semifinals. We'll be back in a couple of minutes as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF Network. Welcome back here, everybody, on the CIF Network as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football as they take on the Omaha Beef in the semifinals of the CIF playoffs. I am Braden Butler. 2nd and 10 for the Beef from their own 9-yard line. It's like quarterback Andrew Jackson barking some orders to his wide receivers. Take the snap. He's got some time in the pocket, fires deep down the field, overthrown. He did take quite a hit from Ben Peaster up the middle. That's just the effect Ben Peaster can have on this defensive line. We've talked all year about how disruptive Dejon Emery was, or it has been, is. Ben Peaster was that same way last year. Now you got both of them on the defensive line, including the long arm of the law, Devin Groenhagen. Jackson sends his man to the line. He takes the snap deep over the middle of the field, caught by his receiver, stretching for the first down, and gets it, does Montero Dubose. No, they're going to say he's marked down short. 4th and short. Got a little bit of a power play here by this Bandits defense. They're stacking the line. His Slugger is basically a 4th defensive lineman. Handoff up the middle. Wrapped up by Groenhagen in the backfield. Slugger there to finish the job. Big tackle for loss by Devin Groenhagen. You cannot escape the long arm of the law. 14-14 here. Just under 14 to go in the first half, and the Bandits are going to get 1st and 10. From the 15, so close to having so many 14s on the board. It's the first big defensive stand of the day. We've seen mistakes made by both teams leading to turnovers. That's the first time any defense has really shown up, and the Bandits showed up big time there off the back of Devin Groenhagen. Brown in the shotgun. Prohaska back in the game on his right. Now Prohaska in motion. Empty set. Brown fires quickly to his receiver. Dropped by London. They're going to rule it incomplete, but the ball popping free. If they ruled it a fumble, it was recovered by Damon Powell anyway. Going to bring up 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line. London coming off the field after that. Epps coming in his place. Talked about Mungro and Blake Frank already on the offensive line. Give some respect to Daniel Small as well out there as a guard. As Brown takes the snap, handoff up the middle to Prohaska. He's going to be met at the defensive line and brought down immediately. That's Carl Bivens, CJ as they call him in Omaha. 6'1", 255-pound D lineman from Lindenwood University, making a big stop there in the middle of the field. Now you got 3rd and long here, 3rd and 12, I want to say here for the Bandits. Brown in the shotgun, Prohaska on his left. Looks like Bruno and Powell are going to be the men in motion. Brown got the defense to jump again. He's going to get a free shot by CJ Bivens. Some Bandits fans were wanting that play blown dead. They even want a flag on Bivens for coming through and making that hit. They're going to march off the yardage. They're going to replay 3rd down. They're not going to get any unnecessary roughness or anything like that on Bivens. But another big mistake on a 3rd and long situation, an offsides penalty by the Beef. Marches off 5 free yards. You go from 3rd and 12 to 3rd and 7. The Bandits haven't exactly been passive this year either. So this could be a 4-down situation if they can get a chunk here. Brown in the shotgun. Left hip pocket for him is Prohaska. Takes the snap. He's going to roll to his right. Flag on the play. He's going to pump fake and run down to the 5-yard line before the whistle is blown. I feel like that Fleet Farm penalty flag is going to bring that play back, as if when the umpire holds it, throws it, it's usually a holding call. That's going to be a holding on the center. Rashad Mungro march off some yardage against the Bandits. Not what you wanted to see. if you are the Sioux City Bandits head coach Irv Strobing or offensive coordinator Jared DeGeorgia. Got to put a little respect on the shoe game of Coach DeGeorgia, too. I believe those are looking like Jordan 12s out there on the feet of the offensive coordinator. Brown breaking the huddle. It's going to bring up. They're waiting to march. They're still waiting to march the penalty back. 3rd and 16 here. Is what they're going to line up with. Be interested to see what the Bandits call if they try to get all this back in one play. They try to cut in half and go for a 4th down play or even make it closer for a Greg Connery field goal as Brown's in an empty set. Prohaska and Epps on the line. Brown takes the snap. He's looking over the middle field. Has Damon Powell deep in the back. This has 2 receivers deep. One of them caught it for the touchdown. Fred Bruno might get the credit as it was stolen away from Damon Powell. At the end of the day, I don't think Powell's going to be too upset as that puts 6 on the board for the Bandits. Teamwork makes the dream work. Can we just give them both a score in the stat sheet? 6 points on the board for the Bandits. Could be 7, pending this Greg Connery extra point. I believe we can call that joint custody. Tie goes to the receiver, but which one as Connery steps on for the extra point? High snap, but gets it down, does London. Connery off the left upright, no good. It will remain 20-14, 6-point game here. Bandits do have the lead once again, though. Have scored 13 unanswered. We'll see what the Beef can do when they come back out on offense. Looks like we're going to have another fan engagement promotion here in Sioux City. Go off for just a couple moments. We'll be right back here on the CIF Network as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football here on the CIF Network. We had a photo finish back to the line there here as I welcome you all back to the CIF Network for Sioux City Bandits football action. 20-14 your score, 10:35 to go here in the second quarter. Fred Bruno officially credited with that touchdown reception from Lorenzo Brown. Greg Connery did miss the extra point to bring us to 20-14. Bandits defense got a big stop last time the Beef offense was on the field. We'll see how it goes here as Connery gets set to kick off. Connery, high kick, spiraling towards Perry at the goal lines. He receives it. He's going to be met by Slugger at the 10. He's able to slip away for a minute, but Samuel's ball on the ground. Is it recovered by the Bandits? They say they have it. Referees are pointing the other way, saying it will remain Beef ball. If the ball hit the boards before the Bandits were able to recover, it would be out of bounds. It would remain Beef ball. And that is the ruling on the field. Ball hit the boards, goes out of bounds, dead ball before the Bandits could recover. No move to challenge it or look back at it, so it looks like we're just going to stand with how it's going on the field. Superman's on the field as well. Tyler Knight there, in there with Ben Peaster, Devin Groenhagen, Dejan Emery. Defensive backs, Laronji Vason Kamar, Greenhouse, Xavier Spann, and Kevin Ransom. Jackson takes the snap, going out to his left a little bit, firing deep down the field. It's a foot race. How just over the receiver's head. Would have been an amazing catch if Pargo could have got there, but it was just out of reach. As he was doing his best Odell Beckham Jr. impression. If he could have just had those go-go gadget extendo arms, he could have brought that one in. 2014 it remains, 2nd and 10 from their own 10-yard line for the Beef. Jackson in the shotgun, empty set here. Takes the snap, looking left, gets hit kind of as he throws it, pushed back to his offensive lineman, pushed out of bounds is the receiver, Norman Darden. Gain of about 5.5, 6 there. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. Now they're going to mark him down at the 15, so 3rd and 5 from the 15-yard line. Can the Bandits defense get another stop? Can the Beef make something happen on offense to try to answer 13 straight Bandits points? Empty set as Jackson sends his men to the line. Takes the snap, firing over the middle of the field. Receiver falls down. There's a little bit of contact. No flags. They're going to say it's incidental. Bring up 4th and 5 for the Beef. The pressure from the Bandits offensive line hasn't gotten there yet. Hasn't been credited with a sack. But it is disrupting Andrew Jackson, to say the least. Jackson, one of the most prolific passers in the CIF this season, the most statistically prolific passer in the CIF this season, is 4 for 8 on the day with 41 yards. Did have that touchdown when he hooked up with Montero Dubose, earlier in this game. Jackson's going to tape the snap and step back. Firing deep down the field. Laranji Vase is there finding Montero Dubose. What concentration from Dubose. They're going to say he got in as well. That connection between Jackson and Dubose has been working for the Beef today, as Dubose just beat Laranji Vase on that deep route and had the concentration to pull that one in, falling backwards. We're knotted up at 20 apiece now, pending this Jeremy Williams extra point. Mason almost got there. If he stuck his arm in a second sooner, we could be calling an incomplete pass. But there's no ifs, ands, or buts here in the CIF. Jeremy Williams looking to give the Beef the lead once again with this extra point. Hold is down, kick up, and good from Williams. 21-20, Beef lead here by 1. Got an exchanging of words between a few players. They're just, figuring out what they're going to do after the game. Maybe hang out, have a good time afterwards, maybe. Definitely no unpleasant things were exchanged there between Groenhagen and Jones. 21-20, Beef lead the Bandits, 6:50 remaining in the first half. Bandits offense has been cooking here recently. They did have the interception earlier thrown by Lorenzo Brown, and they will have the ball to start the second half. Both of those things are things to pay attention to here as the clock starts to wind down towards the end of the first half. Powell and Prohaska back deep to return. Williams marching off his step. He's taking that deep drop once again, it looks like. Connery takes a bit of a shorter drop back when he handles the kickoffs, as Williams is lined up right along the boards to get a big run up. High end over end kick. It's going to be received by Powell in the end zone. Powell busts it left side, now stepping inside. He's going to hit he's going to break off, and Damon Powell's going to house call it. Damon Powell making the house call on the kick return. He might go back to the other end zone. He's excited. He's happy. He's running end to end. 26-21. Bandits lead here pending the Greg Connery extra point attempt. Get a different angle at it here on the replay cam. You can see him getting it to the left side. He gets hit in the thighs there by a defensive back, but no wrap up. And Powell just scoots away to the end zone. As the only thing after that whiff tackle attempt by the Beef kick team between Powell and the end zone was the hopes and dreams of the Beef fans who made the trip up I-29. Flag is thrown. You gotta feel like it's something that's being said by the players, as there was no movement on either side. We were just setting up for a Greg Connery extra point. We'll get the official ruling from the head referee and see how this all shakes out. Fans on both sides a little restless with the stoppage in action. Connery was setting up like he was going to kick the extra point. That is going to be a penalty on Gibson Zaya. Unsportsmanlike. As the exchanging of words got a little too much for the referee's ears. Connery still lined up to kick the extra point. I believe that penalty will be enforced at the end of the Greg Connery kickoff. Hold is down, kick up wide right. Looks like Connery may be compensated for the last missed field goal, and the Bandits lead by 5, 26-21. Daniel Small has his helmet knocked off. Still a couple players talking for each team. As we get set back up here, Connery will kick off when we get back onto the actual field. You see a little bit of an altercation there. That's going to be Jones and Small that we're getting into some words. 26-21, Bandits lead here, 5:46 remaining in the first half. Speaking of halves, they're at the half in Salina as the Liberty and the Outlaws in the other half of the CIF semifinals are doing battle to see who goes to the Champions Bowl to face the winner of this contest between the Beef and the Bandits. Salina leads that one at the halftime break 13-0 as the Salina defense looks to be pitching another masterclass as they have all season. Still a little bit of jaw-jacking between the Beef players and Daniel Small. This time it is not Gibson Zaya or Jordan Jones doing the talking, it's Jared Harris. No flags will fly. They're letting them talk their talk right now. Small leaning up over the boards to get some final words in. Connery's marching off his step. High kick, end over end. It's going to go out of bounds. You got to wonder if Connery, maybe putting that boot into it, was trying to get an uno. You put it between the uprights on the kickoff, you can get a point. Trying to make up for those missed field goals, or the two missed extra points that Connery has in this game so far. You got to think too, with the marching off of the yardage as well, Connery had every right to go for it because they're going to march off quite a few yards here. Beef are going to start at the 11, at the 12. After a little bit of bargaining from a couple Beef players, the umpire moves the ball an extra yard up. 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line for Andrew Jackson and the Beef. Norman Darden in the backfield. We haven't seen a designated running back in the backfield in a while. As Jackson sends his men to the line, handoff to Darden up the middle's got some space, met by Kamar Greenhouse, but breaks away. We're going to be wrapped up eventually by Kevin Ransom and pushed into the boards. Gain of about 8 or 9 there. We'll set up with 2nd and short for the Beef. Braden Mines checking into the game. He joins Laurent G. Vason, Xavier Spann, Kamar Greenhouse, Tyler Knight, and of course 3 down linemen, Groenhagen, Peachster, and Emery. Jackson sends his men to the line. He's going to take the snap, handoff up the middle again. Fumbled on the play, recovered by the Bandits. Big fumble recovery there, and that's Tyler Knight. Superman's there when you need him as he makes the play there. So you saw the loose ball and just the miscommunication on the handoff between Jackson and Darden. That play would have been blown up by Peaster anyway if it got the handoff. So just a great play all around by the Bandits. Flag on the field. We're trying to see here. Tyler Knight was never touched. On the replay, Knight was never touched. He did run to the end zone after the play as well. Bandits fans want the touchdown. Did the referees blow it dead? Referees are going to say they blew it dead, saying that Tyler Knight, spending maybe that extra second on the ground, gave himself up in their opinion. They blew the whistle and blew the play dead. They cannot challenge that, can the Bandits. You can hear the boo birds out a little bit for the Bandit faithful, but 26-21, they lead. They get the ball in good position. Four minutes and maybe 25 seconds to go here in the second quarter as Lorenzo Brown breaks the huddle. He's going to line up under his center, Rashad Mungro. Kamal Cass in as the deep back. Brown, handoff to Bruno, the jet sweep, wrapped up in the backfield, trying to break away is Fred Bruno. So that's going to be a TFL for the Omaha defense. Big play there. That jet sweep by Bruno has yielded two touchdowns today for the Bandits. That one yields a loss of 4. Second and 14 from the 19-yard line of the Omaha Bee for the Bandits here. The Bandits could set themselves up pretty nicely here as they could score to end this half. They have the ball to open the second half. But you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves and start counting your chickens before they hatch. Brown in the shotgun. Sending his men to the line. Cass on his left hip pocket. He's going to take the snap, fire to Kamal Cass off the left side. Stutter step by Cass, gets to the 15-yard line before making contact with the boards. They're going to say he got past the 15 to the 14. Third and about 5 here. Much more manageable than the second and 14 they just faced. Kamal Cass could have kept his footing a little longer and stayed off those boards. He could have cut it back inside. That's what he was trying to do there, but just could not keep his momentum from carrying him into the boards. 3 minutes and counting here in the second quarter for third and 5 for the Bandits from the B 14-yard line. Epps, Powell, and Bruno, the 3 receivers. Brown in the shotgun with Cass on his left. Brown takes the snap. Runs back to left. He's going to scramble. Is Lorenzo Brown. Break off a couple tackles and drag some beef defenders into the red zone. Fresh set for the Bandits as they're going to get first and goal from the 5-yard line on this trip to the Powerball Red Zone, presented to you by the Iowa Lottery. Brown's going to line up under center here as the Bandits break the huddle. Same cast of characters on the field in the skill positions for the Bandits as the last play, as Bruno and Epps are in motion. It's going to be a double reverse handoff to Damon Powell, trying to find some space, but the blocks just did not hold on the backside. He's brought down just short of the original line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of about half a yard to a yard there. Bring up second and goal from the 6. Minute 40 remaining in the second quarter. Bandits will have to run one more play before the 1-minute warning. 20 seconds left on the play clock, minute 25 on the game clock, now down to a minute 20. Brown breaks the huddle, lines up under center. Mungro once again. This time a jet sweep to Bruno, and it stays with Bruno, trying to find that edge, pushed up and into the boards, almost over into the lap of a fan there. Going to bring up third and goal. We're going to go to the 1-minute warning. After the 1 minute warning, of course, it's regular football timing, so the clock will stop when it usually does, as you see on Saturdays and Sundays in collegiate leagues and the NFL, as well as the USFL, as that's running right now as well. Going to go off for just a couple moments here on the CIF Network, but we'll be back shortly. You're watching Sioux City Bandits football here on the CIF Network. Be sure to be back soon for the conclusion of the first half. We're getting back live here in Sioux City, Iowa. This is the CIF Network. This is Sioux City Bandits football, and I am Braden Butler. I'd like to thank you for joining me as we got a minute left in the opening half of the CIF semifinal matchup between the Sioux City Bandits and the Omaha Beef. The other CIF semifinal matchup is currently taking place between the Salina Liberty and the Billings Outlaws. Salina leads that one 13-0. 13 minutes to go in the third quarter down in Kansas. Third and goal here from the Powerball red zone for Lorenzo Brown Jr. Going to line up under center. Kamal Cass, the deep back. Andre London checking into the game for the first time in a couple drives. Fumbled on the snap by Lorenzo Brown. He's just going to run it off the left side, try to get into the end zone. He fought for it. They're going to give it to him. Touchdown, Lorenzo Brown, turning a broken play into 6. Little altercation between a defensive player from the Omaha Beef. Didn't want Lorenzo Brown to take the ball and do his signature celebration. He's spinning on the ground, doing himself a little dance. You see the replay there. Taking a broken play for 6. That's just the versatility of Lorenzo Brown Jr. He's hit double digits on the season in rushing touchdowns on that one. Good block by Kamal Cass as well to seal the edge, realizing the play was broken. They are going to take another look at that play. Replays are close. Looking up at the Sioux City Journal replay cam when we get it. Brown is definitely right on the edge of that goal line, but it is meets it, beats it here in the CIF. If that ball touches the plane or breaks the plane, it is 6 points on the board. As it stands, it's 32-21. Could remain 26-21. Could potentially be 33-21, pending this Greg Connery extra point. During this break's a good time to take a look at the statistical categories here for the Bandits. Lorenzo Brown through the air has 44 yards on 5 for 8 completions, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and also 2 carries for 11 yards. And that touchdown, as it stands, the rushing attack, has been the focal point today, as Bruno and Prohaska both have 23 yards on the ground. 2 rushing touchdowns as well for Fred Bruno. And, of course, the franchise also has 2 catches for 27 yards, one of those going for 6 points as well. For the Beef, Andrew Jackson, 5 for 9 on the day, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns, both of those finding the hands of Montero Dubose. 3 catches for him, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns, as mentioned, with a long of 35 on a deep ball from Jackson. Norman Darden's been getting the bell cow carries today. We expected to see a little bit more of Deshaun Jones as the leading rusher on the team, leads the league in rushing touchdowns, but only 1 carry for him for 4 yards. Darden has 4 carries for 12 yards, but also 2 fumbles, something to keep an eye on. We'll see if he's still out there when the Beef come back out on the field, if they make a switch in the backfield. Now switching to the defensive side of things. Looking at tackles here. Laranji Vason has a couple tackles, and then a bunch of players on the defense have one. No real clear-cut tackle leader so far. As for the Beefs, Carl C.J. Bivens has 3, Brendan Holmes has 4, and Trey Dudley Giles has 6. They're going to mark Lorenzo Brown short. It's going to be 4th and goal from the length of a cat's whisker away from the end zone. No move for Connery, it looks like, so that's going to mean the offense is going to try to punch it in for 6 here on the doorstep. 26-21 your score, 48 seconds and counting here. Whistle's going to blow, and there's going to be a timeout taken by the Omaha Beef. The first charge timeout of the half for the Beef. Looking back at some more stats here, there has been the turnovers, of course. Jordan Jones does have 1 interception, a diving interception that he made. There have been 2 fumble recoveries today as well, one by Laranji Vason and one by Tyler Knight. Of course, Laranji Vason on his fumble recovery just stripped it away from the running back, Norman Darden. It kind of just contributes to how Vason has been a menace on the defensive end, taking the ball away from offenses. Only 5 games this season, this being his 6th. 7 interceptions, and now another fumble recovery as well. Just another takeaway for Laranji Vason. Special teams potentially starting to play a factor as well, as Connery's gone 2 for 4 on extra points. Damon Powell also has a kick return for a touchdown. Another special teams thing to look at there as he went end zone to end zone on that one. Lorenzo Brown marching the power set out on the field. A little bit of a wishbone. 2 running backs, Kasser and Prohaska. Mint's going to line up as a fullback. Of course, the 3 down lineman and Brown. Running back split out. Brown's going to dive into the end zone on the QB sneak, and that one has to work as he's in for 6. Now he's going to do his celebration. It's going to stay on the board as Lorenzo Brown is happy with his performance there on the quarterback sneak. Now up to 32-21 here officially for the Bandits, pending this Greg Connery extra point, as Brown was able to get in. Hasn't been moved for Connery yet. Brown potentially keeping the offense on the field to go for 2. It would put the Bandits up 13 with 46 seconds left here in the second quarter. Either way, you're going to be up 2 scores, but it gets you more into that scenario where you can make up for the field goal mishaps early on in this contest. Brown in the shotgun, Cass on his right. Took Andre London, Braden Mintz. Braden Mintz lining up at receiver. We've officially seen him line up everywhere. Little read option for Lorenzo Brown, and he gets in. The man just keeps making trips to the end zone. His last 3 plays have seen him fall into the end zone. Is he going to do it again? He will. Hitting the hip swivel. Haven't seen a hip swivel like that since Elvis Presley. As Lorenzo Brown gets in for some more points. 34-21. Bandits lead the Beef here in the second quarter. 46 seconds remaining. Getting set up here for the kickoff. Connery coming in to handle the kickoff as the Bandits lead by 13 with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. Bandits will receive the ball to open half number 2 as well, so keep an eye on that. If they can get a stop here for the Beef, they can put them in trouble in a hurry coming out the gates in half number 2. Of course, we've seen the game earlier this season between these 2 teams where about 6 touchdowns happened in the span that we have between now and the end of the half, so you can never really tune out here on the CIF network. High kick by Connery. Going to fall into the end zone, into the hands of the return man for the Beef. Trying to get some space. Wrapped up high, tackle by Ransom. No flags on the play. A return on the play by Trey Dudley-Giles. You get a replay of it here, trying to find space off the right side. Initially bounces off of Kamar Greenhouse before being wrapped up by Kevin Ransom, and Tyler Knight coming in to finish the job as well. 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line for the Beef. 34-21, the Beef with their back against the wall here, potentially in the second quarter. Still plenty of time left. Empty set for Jackson. We've seen him hook up on deep balls to Montero Dubose multiple times today, sending his men to the line. Jackson, middle of the field, has his man caught by his receiver. That's DeSalle. Dante DeSalle is going to get the first down for the Beef as they move those chains. Excuse me. Got to wait on the chains to get set up again. There's a little score update from Salina. The Liberty have scored again, making that game 19-0 in the third quarter, as they're trying to march their way into the Champions Bowl against the victor of this contest between the Beef and Bandits. Jackson taking the snap, looking right, firing, has his man Montero Dubose, who's wrapped up by Tyler Knight for the tackle. It's going to be another fresh set of downs, however, for the Beef, as the clock continues to tick. Stopping right now at 23 seconds while we move the chains. First and 10 for Jackson. Takes the snap, fires quick to his receiver. That's Dante DeSalle again, wrapped up by Kevin Ransom at the 10-yard line. Clock's going to continue to run, but Omaha's going to take the timeout here. They still have one more.
Come on, Ben, get this guy.
You can hear some clamoring from the Sioux City fans. Ben Peaster, Devin Groenhagen, Dejan Emery, the defensive linemen, have been in the backfield quite often today. No sacks to show for it, but they're definitely getting that pressure on Andrew Jackson. You can see the Beef offense has adjusted accordingly, especially on this drive, as they've started to go with more underneath routes. "30-second timeout here for the Beef. The clock's going to be reset to 14 seconds here as they're trying to punch one in to end this first half. Bandits looking to stop them and open the second half with a 13-point advantage and the football, as Sioux City will receive to start half number 2. Andrew Jackson leads his men back out onto the field. 4 wide receivers, no running back, empty set for Jackson. Jackson's going to take the snap. He's going to get a little bit of pressure from Groenhagen, finding his man in the end zone. Ball knocked away, dropped, whatever you want to call it, by the receiver, as Pargo could not bring it in for the Beef. Third down here, about 4 yards to go. 3rd and 3, excuse me, ball on the 9-yard line. Omaha still has a timeout to work with. You think maybe they go for the first down here and reset, or do they go for that end zone again? Empty set for Jackson. We got a Fleet Farm penalty flag on the play, and the timeout taken by the Bandits here before that flag flew, so there is no Fleet Farm penalty flag on the play. Another 30-second timeout. We still got 10 seconds left here in the second quarter. Salina was able to put an extra point on the board down in Kansas, so it's 20-0 now. Liberty lead over the Outlaws, as both those teams trying to punch their ticket to the Champions Bowl. can see the two guys in the huddle that are doing the most instruction, defensive coordinator Marlon Loban, but also linebacker Tyler Knight, one of the most experienced players now in the CIF with his addition to the Bandits defense, as Jackson lines up in an empty set once again. Jackson taking the snap, firing left side, caught by his receiver Noble, and that's going to get in for 6. 34-27, pending the Jeremy Williams extra point. Still 5 seconds to go in the second quarter. Williams will step in for the extra point. He's been perfect so far on the night on extra point attempts. Trying to make this a 6-point game. Hold is down, kick by Williams, up and good. Makes it a 6-point affair. 34-28, Bandits lead on their home soil. 5 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Plenty of time for fireworks to still fly in half number 1. Could expect here maybe a short kick from Williams to force the kick return team of the Bandits to run some time off the clock, maybe run out of time here in the second quarter. But also you got to be wary of Damon Powell, who returned a kick for 6 earlier. Stand corrected, Powell's not on the field for this kickoff. It's Prohaska and Bruno, the deep men. See exactly what the plan is here for Williams and the Beef as he's setting up his tee now for this kickoff. Kick from Williams is low, bounces at the 25. It's going to almost work its way over the head of Prohaska as he taps it down. Prohaska trying to find some space. The clock's going to run out and hit 0, and the whistle's going to blow as there is an altercation between a few players on the field. Maybe it's a great time to head to halftime. Let some of these players cool off after that altercation between Xavier Spann and Brendan Holmes of the Beef. It's going to take us to the halftime break. 34-28 lead for the Bandits. We'll be back here shortly on the CIF network as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football, so don't go anywhere. Welcome in everybody to the Sioux City Bandits halftime show, here on the CIF network. Bandits lead at the halftime break over the Omaha Beef 34-28. 28 Bandits will get the ball to start half number 2. Late touchdown there for the Beef, kind of brought them back. You got to think if you're the Bandits, that's a missed opportunity to go into the half up 13. You got some leeway to play with, as well as the ball to start the second half. You can put the Beef against the doors, but all in all, a great first half from both teams. Few mistakes on each side of the ball. Start with the Omaha Beef and their individual stats. So here, Andrew Jackson, 9 for 14 in that first half, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. His leading receiver was Montero Dubose, 4 receptions, 81 yards for him, 2 touchdowns. The only other receiver to find the end zone was Alexander Noble, who found it on his only reception for 9 yards. Dante DeSalle as well, 2 catches for 17 yards on the day. For the Bandits, Lorenzo Brown, 5 for 8 passing, 44 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he's also got it down on the ground a little bit. 3 carries for 11 yards, 1 of those going in for 6, as well as a read option on a 2-point conversion attempt, which gave the Bandits 34. A couple other players that have been performing well. Fred Bruno, obviously, on the receiving end and the rushing end. He's got 27 yards through the air and 23 yards on the ground. 3 total touchdowns to show for it between those. Prohaska also had a very good opening drive, 4 carries for 23 yards. He's gone kind of quiet since then. Kamal Cass has been picking up the load a little bit as well. His 2 carries going for 15, 7.5 yards per carry. Looking now some defensive leaders for both of these teams. Kevin Ransom is leading the Bandits in tackles with 4 on the day. Laranji Vason right behind him with 2. Then a plethora of Bandits with 1. Tyler Knight also has 2 for Sioux City. As for the Beef, Trey Dudley Giles leads the team in tackles over there with 6 so far. Brendan Holmes has 4 right behind him. Chris Perry and Carl C.J. Bivens each have 3 to round out those defensive stats for the Beef. No sacks in this game so far, but there has been that 1 interception by Jordan Jones and 2 fumbles recovered by the Bandits, 1 by Laranji Vason and 1 by Tyler Knight. Take a look at the team stats here. They are pretty even across the board. 9 first downs for the Bandits, 7 for the Beef. Third down efficiency has been in the Bandits' favor as they are 4 for 6, while the Beef are 1 for 3. Fourth down efficiency, the Bandits are 1 of 1, and the Beef are 1 for 2. So they failed on a 4th and short earlier on in that second quarter. Plays have kind of balanced out for both these teams as the Bandits have run 23, the Beef have run 19. The Beef do have more total yards with 130. Most of those coming through the air, those 114. You also just see the differences in philosophy. You look at pass attempts, 14 for the Beef, 8 for the Bandits. You look at rush attempts, 15 for the Bandits, only 5 for the Beef. It's going to be something to keep an eye on going into half number 2 is that rushing game, as it was working early for the Bandits. And if you bring this lead into half 2, you potentially put 6 on the board out of the gate. You're going to be looking to control that clock in the second half. Try to milk this one away, take a victory into a potential Champions Bowl run, but you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch and all of that. Speaking of chickens hatching, down in Salina, Kansas, the Salina Liberty lead the Billings Outlaws 20-0 as those teams are in the 4th quarter now with a trip to the CIF playoffs on the line, or CIF's championship, the Champions Bowl, on the line. Looking ahead to half number 2, I kind of mentioned that the Bandits should be looking to run the ball a little more, control the clock, try to wind this down later in the contest, try to keep on to this lead, especially if you score out of the halftime break and go up 13, maybe 14, depending on how everything shakes out. As for the Beef, you're going to have to get a defensive stop. The only time the Bandits have not ended the drive in points is when they threw the interception from Lorenzo Brown on that diving effort by Jordan Jones. Beef need a stop if they want to get back into this game, preferably for them, if you're a Beef fan, on the opening drive of the second half. Got about 5 minutes to go here in the halftime break. Beef passing game, Bandits rushing game. These are 2 teams with different philosophies, 2 teams with different attitudes, 2 teams who have not gotten along at all in the early stages of this contest as we march towards half number 2, coming up in about 4 minutes and 40 seconds as you're watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF network, and we'll be back with second half action shortly. Welcome back, everybody, here on the CIF Network as we get set for the second half of this CIF semifinal matchup between the bitter rivals Omaha Beef and the Sioux City Bandits. Bandits lead the Beef 34-28 here as we get ready to start half number 2. Bandits will also get the ball to start the second half as they look to extend their lead out of the gate before the Beef can even get a chance on the offensive end. A lot of fans made the trip out to Sioux City today to support the Bandits in this semifinal matchup. Hopefully for those of you who couldn't make it, listening right here, watching right here on the CIF Network, thank you for joining me. For those joining late, I am Braden Butler. This is the CIF semifinals between the Beef and the Bandits. The Bandits lead 34-28. Winner of this game will go on to the Champions Bowl. As it stands, they would be playing the Salina Liberty. There is still 11 minutes left in that contest as the Outlaws have scored finally to make that game 20-6. Looks like Jeremy Williams here to kick off. Bandits still have not sent their kick return team out there. Looks like Damon Powell is going to go back to being a deep man. Prohaska alongside of him. Damon Powell does have a kick return for a touchdown earlier on in this contest. Fans returning to their seats from the concourse. You see the young fans. Everybody's getting rowdy with it. Tarps off, boys. It's time for a Donnybrook here on the Tyson Event Center between the Beef and the Bandits as we get ready for the second half action. The first half did end in a verbal altercation between a Bandits player, Xavier Spann, and an Omaha Beef player. Excuse me there, a little hiccup, but an altercation between Xavier Spann and Brendan Holmes. Onside kick by the Beef. Smart strategy coming out in the second half. Looks like they're going to get it as well. What a play by the Beef. Is just off the toe there of a Bandit player. That's smart by the Beef. You were coming out here. You didn't want to kick it away. Let the Bandits score potentially and go down 2 scores. Now you got to rush the defense out there if you're the Bandits after you spent all the half potentially drawing up an opening offense. First and 10 from their own 12 to start the game, start the second half for the Beef. Potentially a little miscommunication on the chains here. They were set up as if the Bandits were the ones on offense. Chain gang getting everything set up to go here. Not the way the Bandits wanted to start the second half, but see if the defense can make something happen. Emery, Peaster, and Groenhagen, the down defensive linemen. Slugger, the lone linebackers. Jack is Andrew Jackson in an empty set, firing left side. Ball knocked away. Dante DeSalle wanted a flag there on the Ranji Vason, but he's not going to get one. Good defense there by Vason, as Jackson was stepping up in the pocket trying to make a play. The pressure's been there for the Bandits, just no sacks to show for it quite yet. Another empty set for Jackson. I haven't really seen them use a running back since Norman Darden had his 2 fumbles in the first half. Jackson under pressure, firing deep down the field, has a man. Pargo caught it at the 5. That's 6. No, ball ripped away. But he was into the end zone before the ball was ripped away by Greenhouse. Touchdown Beef. Ties us up at 34 apiece, pending the extra point. And what a turn of events to open half number 2. If you're the Bandits, you think you're getting the ball to start the second half. You can make something happen, put 2-score lead between you and the Beef. And now you're tied, potentially down here, depending on this Jeremy Williams extra point. That's how fast life can change here in the CIF. Hold is down, kick up and good for Williams. Emery was almost there on the field goal block. 35-34, Beef lead. Completely different ball game than we thought we had about 2 minutes ago when this second half started. As an onside kick by the Beef sets up an offensive drive that ends in a deep hookup between quarterback Andrew Jackson and wide receiver Rashad Pargo. 12:47 to go in the third. Still plenty of football left to be played as the Bandits trail by 1. Got to give some love to the kicker, Jeremy Williams, as he was able to start that last Beef possession that gave them the lead after the onside kick. Just hitting the shin, the front of the shin of Braden Mintz, it looked like. See what Williams has up his sleeve here. Mintz did try to get out of the way of that last ball, and it kind of kicked up as he was jumping, and that's what caught him in the shin. Williams marches off his steps. Going to put a boot into this one, high end over end. Back deep to return is Prohaska. He fields the ball in the end zone, trying to find some space off the left side. Nothing doing. Wrapped up by Trey Dudley Giles and thrown up against the boards. The Beef fans that made the trip are starting to get into it here as they lead by 1. The Bandits offense needs to shift momentum here, led by Lorenzo Brown, and get their home crowd back into it. First and 10 from their own 7-yard line for the Bandits. From their own 8-yard line, excuse me. Brown takes the snap in an empty set. He's going to be forced to scramble off the left side. He's going to get past the 10 to about the 12-yard line before being met up along the boards, getting him down to the 13 here. Bring up 2nd and 5 as he cuts the yards to gain in half. Prohaska's going to line up in the backfield, right hip pocket of Lorenzo Brown. Had a stellar opening drive, did Prohaska. Has been quiet ever since. Handoff, no, fakes the handoff, does Brown. As he pulls it, tucks it up the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe half a yard, if anything, on a gain. As that read option was read well by the Omaha defensive line. 3rd and 5 from the 13 here. All the momentum is on the side of the Beef right now. Could be their first defensive stop since an interception in the first quarter. Brown's going to line up under center. Prohaska the deep back. Bruno and Powell in motion. Hand off to Bruno on the jet sweep off the right side. Gains a couple yards. Gets to the 15 at most. It's going to bring up 4th and short. Let's see what the Bandits have drawn up here. They're going to bring in Greg Connery. They're going to kick. You see Lorenzo Brown a little upset there. This will be a long field goal for Connery. He's going to be kicking from about his own 8. I think this was more just a flip field position, high, end over end. It's going to be right of the uprights. It's going to be short as well. It's going to be returned by Trey Dudley Giles. Flag on the play. Multiple flags on the play. Trey Dudley Giles is going to make a house call, but this is going to get called back. Trey Dudley Giles still under the impression he made a house call, but he didn't realize the phone line was cut by the flag back at the other 15. Another look here, just a blindside block there. About the 7 or 8 yard line. A lot of flags came in at that moment. And there's a block in the back there too as well by Jordan Jones. Erase those points on the board for Dudley Giles. It's going to be 1st and 10 here from their own 6-7 yard line. Jackson takes the snap, fires quick right side, has his receiver Montero Dubose. Dubose wrapped up by Slugger, forced out of bounds. 1st and 10, though, for the Beef as they gain about 12 on that play. Nine and change remaining here in the third quarter. 35-34. Bandits trail the Beef in the CIF semifinals. Jackson takes the snap. Forced to roll out to his right from the pressure. Pass to Montero Dubose is dropped, but there is a Fleet Farm penalty flag on the play. We'll see how this one affects the game. Could be a holding on the defense. Alexander Noble, the receiver for Omaha, was upset, talking to the referees, trying to. It is going to be a holding on the defense on the Ranji Vason. Dejan Emery maybe trying to fire up LaRanji Vason. Some might call that tough love from the usual laid-back Dejan Emery, getting up in the face of his teammate Vason, maybe trying to light that fire in this defense that needs to stop as Jackson sends his men to the line. Fires, left side does Jackson, caught by Noble, brought down by Greenhouse, gain of about 4.5. They're going to mark him down at the 21-yard line. Second and 6 here for the Beef. Dubose and Pargo. Little miscommunication there as they try to get their stuff reset with Andrew Jackson. Ball fumbled on the snap, fallen on top of by the Bandits defense, picked up by Emery. He gets back to his feet before being touched. He's running down the right sideline. Dejan Emery is going to get to the end zone. There is a Fleet Farm penalty flag. We'll see what that flag does to this play. Dejan Emery, smart play there. Rolled right back up to his feet immediately, knowing what happened earlier with Tyler Knight. But there is that flag on the play. Illegal defense is called on Ben Peaster, number 7. He did jump the snap a little early there, and that's what caused the fumble. No points for Dejan Emery there. It's going to give a fresh set of downs as well. No, excuse me, it's going to be just short of a fresh set. It's going to be 2nd and 1 after that 5-yard penalty. Jackson's going to break the huddle. We're going to see a running back in the game, Deshaun Jones. First time they haven't lined up in that empty set in a while, and they're going to hand off to Jones off the left side. He's got some blocks, but he's wrapped up and brought down by Emery. It's going to be a first down, but there is going to be a flag. Fleet Farm penalty flag on the play. It looks like there was a little bit of altercation there between Devin Groenhagen and an Omaha Beef offensive lineman, Reginald Patrick. Referees discussing the play there. As it stands, it'd be a first down, but that flag could pull that back. Referees still conferring. Flag is after the play, so they will march yardage off, but it will be a first down for the Beef. First down here for the Beef after that penalty. Get a first down, but lose yards on the play. Jackson takes the snap, firing left side, overthrown. Flag on the play. As Alexander Noble and Kamar Greenhouse were tangled up, hand fighting. The referees did not like what they saw, though. I think they're going to get Kamar Greenhouse on the pass interference. Will be a pass interference on Kamar Greenhouse. Just marching yards back the other way now off that penalty. First and 10 here for the Beef. Jackson in an empty set takes the snap. Quick slant route to Alexander Noble. No flags, no catch, no nothing, no yards either after Kamar Greenhouse knocks that pass away. Empty set once again for Jackson. They've been running this most of the game. The offense has been humming while using it. Takes the snap, fires quick left side, pass too low on the ground. Tyler Knight was in there to make the hit. In case that was a catch, it was a drop, however, by Montero Dubose. 3rd and 10 for the Beef. Bandits need this stop after how this second half has started. The onside kick falling to the Beef, them scoring very quickly, and then the turnover. Not the turnover, excuse me, but being forced to kick on their opening drive of half number 2. Tyson Event Center getting loud here. As Jackson sends his men to the line, takes the snap, looking left side, got a man, Alexander Noble, caught, spins in, and he's in for 6. That's going to put the Beef up 7, 41-34 here in the third quarter. Good hookup there between quarterback and receiver. Noble maybe reading Jackson's eyes there as he was able to stop the route, feeling Kamar Greenhouse go past him, and he's able just to waltz into the end zone after catching that ball. 41-34 as Jeremy Williams comes on to kick the extra point. Could make it an 8-point game. Williams gets the kick up and good. (42-34). Bandits trail by 8 to the Omaha Beef. 4:53 remaining in the third quarter, so plenty of football yet to be played. Looks like we got some fan engagement here in the Tyson Event Center, but we're not going to go off this time here on the CIF Network. As you know, this weekend is Father's Day weekend tomorrow on the 19th. I've been lucky enough in my life to have 2 men I've been able to call my father and help raise me. Of course, my biological father, Ted Butler, I know he's listening. And a man, my stepfather, who stepped up and has helped a lot in my life. Both of them helped me get where I am, Levi Griffin as well. My stepfather, I'd like to thank both of them for what they've done for me. I wouldn't be here without them. I wouldn't be talking to y'all without them. So on this Father's Day weekend, just thinking about your dads, your father figures in life. Be sure to thank them, let you know how you feel about them and how they've helped you in your life get to where you are, because I personally would not be here without them. So special thank you, Ted Butler, Levi Griffin, for helping raise me on 2 different sides. 42-34 is your score as we get out of this fan engagement segment. 4:53 remaining in the third quarter as Jeremy Williams will kick off here for the Beef. Fred Bruno stepping in back deep to return. Damon Powell not back there as Bruno's joining Drew Prohaska. 8-point game, still only a one-score game. The Bandits don't really have their back up against the wall yet, but they're going to need to answer on this drive. High end-over-end kick by Williams. Angling towards the boards, goes out of bounds. That'll set the Bandits up at the 25-yard line. There was an offside on the kicking team for a Fleet Farm penalty flag. So instead of starting at the 25, the Bandits are going to start even further up at the B15. See what Lorenzo Brown and co. can do here on this drive to try to get some points back on the board, maybe match the Beefs 42 as they trail 42-34 here in their home stadium of the Tyson Event Center. Brown sends his men to the line. He's going to take the snap, hand off to Cass up the middle. Fancy footwork at the line of scrimmage gets Cass a couple yards going forward, but he's going to be pushed back by a pack of Beef players. Bandits and Beef fans know for a fact this is not over until it's over between these two teams. Still plenty of football yet to be played. 4 minutes in this quarter, another 15 in the fourth. As Brown is in the shotgun with Cass on his left. Bruno, Powell, and Epps all out to the right. Brown takes the snap. Forced to almost intercept as he was trying to get it to Fred Bruno over the middle of the field. Left it wide to the left of the franchise, almost into the waiting arms of a defensive back for the Omaha Beef, as Brendan Holmes couldn't come up with it. Brown looked a little indecisive in the pocket that time. Looked like he had Bruno flash open initially, but he checked off of that read down to his running back on the check down, Cass, who was covered when he went back over the middle of the field. The pressure was there, and he was forced to make a quick decision and left the pass wide to the left. Brown's going to take the snap, looking right over the midfield. Falling down is Sammy Epps, but the pass is knocked away by the Beef defense. 4th down and 9 for the Sioux City Bandits. Kicking team starts to come on the field. Now they're backing off. Sioux City offense. Look like they're going to stay. Lorenzo Brown wants to put 6 on the board. So does offensive coordinator Jared DeGeorgia. At the very least, you want your 8 to 9 yards that'll get you a first down right here on 4th. Epps split out wide to the right. Cass out wide to the left on the line of scrimmage. Bruno and Powell in motion. Empty set for Brown as he takes the snap. Brown firing middle of the field, intercepted by the Omaha Beef defense. That's Brendan Holmes. He spins off a tackle on the left side, pushed out of bounds by Daniel Small. Altercation between Small and Jordan Jones. Refs were able to break it up before a brawl ensued. Pass intended for Damon Powell finds the hands of the wrong number 17, Brendan Holmes. The Bandits have come out in half two flat, to say the least, and it has been a lemony snicket series of unfortunate events ever since the third quarter started. Looks like we're going to get some fan engagement after that play. So we have a little third quarter stat update here between the Beef and the Bandits. Beef leading 42-34 here. The second half has been all Omaha. They've scored 14 unanswered out of the gate in half number 2. The Bandits are going to need to answer. The Bandits defense is going to have to step up here and start something to stop this Omaha offense that has been rolling in the second half. 13 for 21 on the day for Andrew Jackson, 183 yards, 5 passing touchdowns for Jackson, 2 to Montero Dubose, who leads all receivers with 5 catches for 93 yards and those 2 touchdowns. 2 as well for Alexander Noble, who has 3 catches for 27 yards, and 1 catch, 39 yards, 1 touchdown for Rashad Pargo. Haven't seen much of the running game today. Only 6 carries for 18 yards total for the Beef offense between Norman Darden, who has 4 carries for 12, and Deshaun Jones, who has 2 carries for 6. Jones does have the touchdown, however, on the ground today for the Beef. As for the Bandits, the offense stagnated in this second half so far. 5 for 11 on the day for Lorenzo Brown, 44 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He's almost doubled his season total for interceptions, as he only had thrown 3 this season coming into this contest. Rushing game has been working when they've been able to go to it. Lorenzo Brown, 5 carries there, 16 yards, 1 touchdown. Fred Bruno leads all rushers in yards and carries with 6 carries for 25 yards, 2 touchdowns. Prohaska, we mentioned, had that stellar opening drive, 4 carries, 23 yards along a 13, was getting this offense going. Hasn't run the ball since. That's something where it's partly scheme of him and Cass going back and forth in personnel, and fortunately just there hasn't been the running lanes or the ability to get those running plays for Prohaska in this second half. Andrew Jackson leads his men back to the line. They're going to run a running back out there for one of the few times in this second half. That's going to be lined up on his left hip pocket of Jackson is Deshaun Jones. Handoff to Jones, up the gut, wrapped up by Tyler Knight, met as well by Kevin Ransom. That's a gain of about 6 there on the opening play, bring up 2nd and 4. Give a little update from the other CIF semifinal game. 30 seconds remaining in Salina. Liberty lead the Outlaws 26-14. It's like the Liberty on the doorstep of punching their ticket to back-to-back Champions Bowls. Jackson's going to take the snap. Quick pitch out to Jones. Back-to-back running plays. He runs through Laronji Vasa before being met by Tyler Knight and Xavier Spann, being pushed out of bounds. Short of the line to gain. It'll bring up 3rd and 2 here. Jackson's going to take the snap. Quick pitch out left side this time to Jones. He's got the first down and a little bit more. Spins off of a tackler. Wrapped up by Xavier Spann and brought down by a group of Bandits. About the 15-yard line. That's where they're going to mark him. That's going to be a first down, though, here at the 15 for the Beef. 42-34. Beef lead the Bandits. 34 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. Shotgun formation once again. Jackson has not lined up under center today. Another handoff to Deshaun Jones up the middle. Be wrapped up by Spann and now met by a gang of Bandits before the whistle blows due to forward progress being stopped. Got a shove after the play from a Beef player to Xavier Spann. Been quite a few extracurriculars between these two teams. Reggie Patrick does not get a flag for that slight shove into the chest of Xavier Spann. That'll do it for quarter number 3 here. Bandits trail the Beef 42-34 as we go to the 4th. You're watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF Network. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Fours are up as we head to the fourth here in Sioux City. You are watching Bandits football here on the CIF Network. I am Braden Butler. This is a matchup between the Omaha Beef and the Sioux City Bandits to decide who is going to the Champions Bowl to play what looks like the Salina Liberty as they lead 26-14 over the Billings Outlaws. Under 10 seconds to go in that one. Beef offense knocking on the door of another touchdown, potentially going up 2 scores here. Bandits need to make a stop. Jackson, handoff up the middle to Sean Jones, wrapped up by Tyler Knight and others. Looks like Devin Groenhagen and Ben Peaster in there as well. Third and short. The Beef have run the ball more on this drive than they have in the entire game leading up to it. Got to wonder if they're going to settle to run again. If they don't get that first down, bring out kicker Jeremy Williams, the most efficient field goal kicker in the league. I would put him up 2 scores. Maybe you run a play action, you fake the run, and you open up even more. Jackson sends his men to the line. He is going to pass here on third down. He's going to be met and sacked. Groenhagen got there initially, but he's going to be wrapped up and brought down by Ben Peaster. Brings up 4th and long, kicking team onto the field for the Beef. Finally, that pass rush got there for the Bandits. It's been in the backfield all day. They've been knocking at the door. Finally, they decided just to kick it down. Jeremy Williams here setting up. And the hold will be down at about the 22-yard line. It's about a 30-yard kick. Snap's good, hold down, kick up. Wide left for Jeremy Williams. It remains a 1-score game. And old cousin Mo is shifting to Sioux City, it seems. See if the offense can come out and answer after that big defensive stop by the Bandits off that sack by Ben Peaster. With a little bit of help from Devin Groenhagen. There's a couple Omaha players are getting into exchanging words with defensive coordinator Marlon Loban. Loban, a former player. He knows some of these Beef players well. He's up in the Ring of Honor here in Sioux City. He played linebacker for about 7 seasons. Use that to transition to a defensive coordinator role. First and 10 from their own 5-yard line for the Bandits. As Lorenzo Brown breaks the huddle. Prohaska in the game at running back. Brown's going to line up under center. Brown takes the snap, handoff, jet sweep. Fred Bruno off the right side. Gets to about the 10-yard line. Collision with the boards hard. He's going to gain 5. He's going to cut the yard to gain in half. 2nd and 5 for the Bandits here from their own 10. Brown in the shotgun, Prohaska in his left hip pocket. High snap, handoff to Prohaska up the middle. Got some space on the left side. He's going to get a first down. He's going to get a fresh set for the Bandits here. 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. Brown doing a little housekeeping, getting Damon Powell on the right side of the field as he lines up under center. Prohaska the deep back once again. Fake the jet sweep. Now they're looking deep down the field. He's got Damon Powell, caught by Damon Powell at the 3-yard line into the end zone. There is a flag on the play. Fleet Farm penalty flag. We'll see who it's on, but as it stands, big touchdown from Brown to Powell. It was an illegal defense on the Omaha Beef. That 6 is going to stand, potentially 7 or 8 for the Bandits, as this is 42-40 as momentum shifts to the Bandits' side. Good hook up there from Lorenzo Brown to Damon Powell. Underthrown a little bit. He had to slow up to get it, but it was just fine right in the breadbasket for Powell. There's definitely been a hole in this offense after the injury to Brandon Shepard. Saw him go to short-term IR. In the deep threat category, Powell's filled that a little bit. Bandits going for 2 here, trying to tie this up at 42 apiece. Brown in the shotgun. Prohaska on his left. Prohaska splits out in a passing route. Brown over the middle of the field, caught by Damon Powell. No, that was Sammy Epps, excuse me, on the catch before being swung to the ground by Jordan Jones. Powell goes to confront Jones for what he felt was an unnecessary swing to the ground. Jones shoving Powell, getting a flag. And you might also be able to see that Daniel Small was busting a move or two in his excitement right in the face of Jones. You see the swing down there. You can see Powell come from the back of the end zone, felt that was unnecessary. Big shove from Jones is what drew the flag. Can't make the mental mistakes when momentum is shifting if you are the Beef. I was kind of hoping we could get a little bit of a replay of Daniel Small's dance moves as well, but this was a great play over the middle by Sammy Epps. He just kind of found that sweet spot in the defense, corralled it for the 2-point conversion. 42-42 is your score. The first unsportsmanlike for Jordan Jones. It will result in his disqualification. Let's get another look at the shove, hand up in the face mask as well. You see Daniel Small immediately pointing. He sees the flag fly and he jumps around a little bit. Small and Jones have been exchanging words for most of the afternoon, most of the evening. Now we're tied up at 42 apiece, 11-14 remaining in the fourth quarter. So both teams are having a race to see who can be the highest scoring team in the world at this rate. Greg Connery will kick the extra point here. Not kick the extra point, excuse me, kick off. One final update from Salina. The Liberty have beat the Outlaws. The Liberty will be going to the Champions Bowl. The winner of this game will be meeting them next week. 26-14, the final score in that one. High end-over-end kick by Connery. Just going to go over the boards and out of bounds. But you're going to get that unsportsmanlike conduct on the top of it. It's going to march the ball from the 25 back to about the 12. First down and 10 from their own 12.5-yard line. This is a brand new game between these two teams, 42-42. You don't want to miss a second of the last 11 minutes and change here as a spot in the Champions Bowl with the Salina Liberty is on the line for these two teams. Bandits lead the all-time series between these two squads 23-22, but the Beef are undefeated in the playoffs when they meet the Bandits. They are 3-0. Jackson sends his men to the line. Trying to find space. Now as a man over the left side, pushed out of bounds by Slugger. It's going to be Norman Darden on the catch. Pickup of 5, be 2nd and 5 here for the Beef. Empty set for Jackson. Looking deep down the middle of the field. He's got a man overthrown. And Laranji Vesa was catching up on that play as well. That was on target. It could have been in the area of Laranji Vasey for another interception. Montero Dubose was the intended receiver. 3rd and 5 for Andrew Jackson and the Omaha Beef. Jackson in the empty set again. Middle of the field, caught by Darden, wrapped up by Slugger and Vason. Eventually brought down by Slugger. Almost had a bit of deja vu there. The last time Darden was stood up for that and tried fighting for extra yards, it was stripped away by Laranji Vason on the first drive of this game. First and 10 for the Beef from the Bandits' 23-yard line. Deshaun Jones coming into the game. Alexander Noble stepping out as Jackson's in an empty set once again, despite the running back checking into the game. Jackson looking over the middle of the field. He's got Pargo overthrown. There's a Fleet Farm penalty flag on the play. We'll see who this is on. Deshaun Jones does have his helmet off down on the field. There's a face mask on Laranji Vason as his hands got up into the face of Deshaun Jones, knocking the helmet off. That's going to march off 3 yards for the Beef. That's not what you want if you're the Bandits. First and 10 from the Bandits' 12-yard line here for the Beef. 8:51 remaining in quarter 4. Andrew Jackson going to keep lining up in that empty set. Excuse me, I was about to say Deshaun Jones still on the field, but he is not, as he's been replaced by Norman Darden. Fires quick left side. Jackson Dubose tries to spin off. Ransom trying to rip that ball away. Whistle is going to blow before he can. Be second down here from about the 6-yard line of the Bandits. Second and 4 from the 6 here for Omaha. Jackson in the shotgun. It looks like Pargo and Noble are going to be in motion. Jackson takes the snap. He's got under pressure by Groenhagen. He just throws it into the turf. They're going to say it was fumbled, picked up by Laranji Vason. He's running down the sideline. No, he makes a man miss. Now spinning back inside. Laranji Vason's got nothing but hopes and dreams between him and the end zone. If this stands as a fumble, it's a fumble recovery, scoop and score for Laranji Vason. 7:35 remaining. And all of the confusion, Vason was able to squirt 3. See if the arm was going forward for Jackson. He's saying it was. A lot of the Beef players saying it was. Obviously, they want the ball back. They don't want that score to stand by Vason. Heads up play by Laranji Vason to scoop it up and keep running. I'd be able to hear some Sioux City fans near me mentioning that if it's not a fumble, then it's intentional grounding for not getting across the line of scrimmage. Which is another fair point. I'm going to have to be honest with the Sioux City faithful. The play is going to be under review. Had quite a few reviews today. This could be a difference maker. I want to just reiterate once again, happy Father's Day weekend to all The fathers out there, make sure you got a father figure in your life. Doesn't always have to be your dad. Let them know you appreciate them. 7:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. We're knotted up at 42 apiece as we're under review once again. Just interesting here. It did look initially like the arm was going forward, but you got to wonder if it could have been a grounding call even, if that's applicable, because I don't believe the ball passed the line of scrimmage. Be interesting to see what exactly the referees are looking at. Can they go back and throw that flag for intentional grounding? Not sure what the replay rules fully entail, what the referees can and can't change. And two, if Jackson's arm was knocked forward, if he didn't throw it forward, or if the ball was moving before he was going forward. We'll learn a lot about the play from the reaction of head coach Irv Strobing. Incomplete pass, third down after that. Bandits fans upset as we get a look at the replay here. Jackson's arm was going forward, but I don't know if it got past the line of scrimmage. Then again, maybe that's just in the replay side of things. Can you really add a flag on? If that was the case, every play could be reviewed. You probably get holding on 90% of the plays in any level of football these days. Andrew Jackson in an empty set. Dante DeSalle and Alexander Noble are the men in motion. Jackson, corner of the end zone, to DeSalle, up and over, incomplete. Looks like DeSalle kind of landed on one of the tables that are along the boards in the end zone. Amazing effort by DeSalle, but he went up and over the bar stool there. Fourth down. What did the Beef do here? Looks like they're bringing on the field goal unit. Jeremy Williams on. This is what the Bandits needed to hold the Beef away from a touchdown. Now you always got to be weary about Dejon Emery. 5 field goal blocks on the season. He gets one there. Dejon Emery with the block. It hits the board. It's ruled down by that. What's that? The opposite of the commentator's curse? A little bit of Tony Romo action, calling the hand before I saw it as Dejon Emery gets the block when they needed him most. Tied up still. 42 apiece. 6:26 remaining in quarter 4. Bandits will set up at their own 5-yard line here after that field goal block by Dejon Emery, his 6th on the season to lead the league. To extend his league lead. Clocks have started moving here in the Tyson Event Center in Fleet Farm Arena. Lorenzo Brown going to line up under center. Cass is kind of offset. Jet sweep to Bruno. Finds some space between the linemen, but he's wrapped down from behind. Gain of 1 to 2, if anything, is Trey Dudley Giles. No, excuse me, that was not Dudley Giles. That's 31, not 21. Carl C.J. Bivens. Cass on the left hip pocket of his quarterback. Lorenzo Brown is there in the shotgun formation. Cass and Powell in motion. Quick pass out to Fred Bruno, left side. He has to fall down to catch it, but he does corral it. It's going to bring up a 3rd and manageable here. Bring up a 3rd and 4 here. The Bandits don't want to just give this ball right back. They don't want to waste this possession after that field goal blocked by Dejan Emery. We'll see what happens here. The Bandits are trying to get the offense rolling. Brown in the shotgun with Cass on his right. 4:35 to go in this game. A date with the Salina Liberty in the Champions Bowl on the line. And there's going to be a flag on Carl Bivens. Sammy Epps immediately to the protection of his quarterback. Might get a flag on Epps as well. Is now a player getting in Epps' face is Gibson Zaya. There's a lot of Fleet Farm penalty flags on the field. That play was blown dead after Bivens jumped offside and then swung Lorenzo Brown to the ground. Sammy Epps came in to the defense of his quarterback. More flags were thrown. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Might have to take a trip to Fleet Farm to get more flags after this game. Referees conferring who did what, where did what gets accepted, what gets negated. (42-42) your score, 4:31 in the fourth quarter remaining. As it stands, it's 3rd and 4. Could be longer, could be shorter. Depends on who all the flags are on. There's at least going to be an offside on Bivens as well, as what I assume will be either an unnecessary roughness, on Bivens as well. Past that, we're looking at some unsportsmanlikes. Maybe Bivens, maybe Sammy Epps, maybe Gibson Zaya, who got in there as well, as the Bandits fans are rising to their feet. How can the refs have a conversation in this noisy environment? The Bandits will get a first down off of the offside penalty. There is unnecessary roughness on Sammy Epps and on Carl Bivens. So it'll be a fresh set for the Bandits on the 5-yard penalty. The other 2 personal fouls offset. They're marching off those yards now. 1st and 10, fresh set of downs from their own 16-yard line for the Bandits. 4:31 remaining. So we're knotted up at 42 apiece. Brown breaking the huddle. Cass is going to remain in the game on his left hip pocket. Or right hip pocket, excuse me. Flag on the play as the defender jumped offside. Free play finds Damon Powell over the middle of the field at 20. He backs down into the 15 to the 14. It's going to be an illegal defense on the defense. Obviously, they don't call illegal defenses on the offense. Sounds a little redundant, but big play there from Lorenzo Brown to Damon Powell over the middle of the field. Sets the Bandits up nicely on the B 14-yard line. 42-42, 4:12 remaining. Looks like Brown's going to line up under his center Mungo. The deep back is Cass. Hand off to Cass up the middle, trying to find some space. Manages to make something out of nothing as he was initially touched in the backfield, but he gets a gain of about 2 to 3 yards. Be 2nd and 8 here from the 12-yard line for the Sioux City Bandits, trying to punch their ticket to the Champions Bowl. The winner of this matchup will face the Salina Liberty. If the Beef win, they'll travel to Salina to take on the Liberty. If the Bandits win, Salina will have to make that trip up to Sioux City. Browns has men in motion. Jet sweep Fred Bruno, read perfectly by the Beef defense. Brought down in the backfield is Fred Bruno. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 after that tackle for loss by Jared Harris. Harris, the 6-foot-tall, 200-pound D-line linebacker hybrid, what he's listed as, out of Robert Morris. Brown in the shotgun. It's like Bruno and Powell are going to be in motion as he takes the snap. Fires quick left side. Fred Bruno caught at the 10, trying to make some space. He's going to be brought down, pushed out of bounds. They say at the 9. He's going to bring up 4th down from the 9. They're going to bring on Greg the Leg Conry. They're going to kick the field goal. Under 2:10 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Timeout's going to be taken by the Beef. Interesting here. You think you might want to save those for down the stretch with how tight this game has been. Be 2:06 remaining when we get back from this timeout here on Father's Day weekend. Once again, the winner of this contest will meet the Salina Liberty next week. For the Beef, they'd meet them down in Salina. For the Bandits, Salina would come up to Sioux City. Snap is down, kick up. It's good by Conry. There were flags on the play. Both.
Are you kidding me, Randy? That's unbelievable.
So I believe what the referee has stated is there's no fouls on the play.
Never do another game, buddy.
But because the whistles blew and flags were thrown before the kick, I don't know if they're going to count the Greg Conry field goal. Conry's going to have to kick it again. Personally, I can attest, anybody in my life can attest, I am full of hot air. There's never a situation where I'm left speechless. I'm struggling to find words to make sense of that. As it stands, no flags, no field goal. Pretend the last 20 seconds of game time didn't happen as Greg Conry sets up again. Lorenzo Brown in to hold. Snap is good, hold is down. Conry kick up and good. So nice, he had to do it twice, but it puts the Bandits up 3. 45-42, 2:02 remaining in this game. Some members of the Bandits coaching staff still trying to get a official ruling, maybe just trying to fully understand what happened from the head referee. Offensive coordinator Jared DeGeorge is the one handling the negotiations, potentially aggressive negotiations. Does not seem that they are short currently, but as it stands, Bandits lead by 3, 45-42 over the Beef. Bandits defense needs to step up here if the Bandits want to go to the Champions Bowl. Beef offense needs to keep them in this game. This is what you sign up for. Playoff football, there's nothing more fun no matter what league, no matter where it is. Greg Connery marching off his steps. Deshaun Jones back deep with Trey Dudley Giles to return. Ball bounces at the 20, bounces again about the 10, into the hands of Dudley Giles. Chopped down by Tyler Knight. What a play by Superman, diving in and making the tackle. Look at this replay. The right hand caught just above the kneecap onto the thigh of Dudley Giles as he was trying to jump away. And he came back down to earth. Big play by Superman on the kickoff. Bandits fans rising to their feet to the point where I got to stand just to see what's going on. Beef offense on the field, led once again by Andrew Jackson. Trying to get his men in the proper positions. Looks like Pargo is going to be kind of offset here. Not truly a running back, but he's going to loop around, run his motion up to the line of scrimmage. Jackson over the middle field, caught by Darden. Wrapped up by Tyler Knight, brought down eventually by Knight and Ransom, but that's going to be a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 for the Beef as they move those chains. Could get down to the 1-minute warning before the Beef snap the ball again. We'll see what happens. We're about 10 seconds away. Jackson's trying to send his men to the line quickly. Gets the snap off before the 1-minute warning does Jackson. Fires right side, finds his man Darden, falls down. He's able to get back to his feet. Makes a man miss. Laranji Vason eventually brings him down at about the 15-yard line. It's going to be another fresh set of downs for the Omaha Beef. We're at the 1-minute warning, 1st and 10 for the Beef. When we get back from this 1-minute warning, you are watching Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF network as we are 52 seconds away from finding out who's going to meet the Salina Liberty in the Champions Bowl, so don't go anywhere. Getting back onto the field here in Sioux City as you're watching Bandits football on the CIF network. I am Braden Butler. Bandits lead 45-42 over the Omaha Beef here in the 4th quarter. 52 seconds remaining. 1st and 10 from the Beef from the Bandit 15. Empty set once again from Jackson. Andrew Jackson takes the snap, rolling out to his right, trying to find nobody. He's going to scramble out, wrapped up by Xavier Spann and brought down to the turf. 45 seconds and counting here as the Beef set up 2nd down from the 11-yard line. Bandits have all 3 timeouts. Beef have 2 timeouts. Nobody's going to call them. Under 30 seconds to go here. Clock management not seeming to be on the mind of the Beef as they're just running up, taking their time. Jackson takes the snap. He's almost brought down back up. He's going to scramble up the middle of the field. He's going to be met by Tyler Knight and brought down. Superman makes the save, but there's 15 seconds left in the 4th. That's going to bring a fresh set of downs. 1st and goal from the Powerball red zone. Presented by Iowa Lottery. "15 seconds. 3 yards separate the Beef in the end zone. Sioux City's going to take the timeout. They're going to talk it over. Sioux City has a 3-point lead with 15 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And this is huge. This is a season for these two teams, a season that's seen the Bandits only drop one all year and be the outright number one seed coming into these playoffs, a season that's seen the Beef go on a run lately. After starting the season 3-3, falling late to the Bandits, they've won 5 in a row to march up to 8-3. They came into this playoffs as the 4th seed. This is a high-pressure situation. Pressure makes diamonds. Who's going to shine here in the fourth? Jackson in the empty set once again. It's proved fruitful for the offense all night for Omaha. He's going to take the snap. Firing quick left side, just out of the reach of his receiver, but a flag is going to fly. Pass interference is the potential call. It looks like a lot of hand fighting between Greenhouse and Noble. Waiting on the official ruling from the head referee. Pass interference is on Kamar Greenhouse. Half the distance to the goal doesn't change the situation much, but it gets them just a little bit closer. Get a sideline warning as well against the Bandits. First down here from the 2-yard line for the Beef. They got 4 plays to get in, but they only got 13 seconds, which can be an eternity in indoor football. Deshaun Jones into the game. Usually that means handoff to Jones. We'll see what this does, what happens here. Another flag is going to fly.
Run the clock, Dwayne. Don't watch the game.
See what exactly happens here. It's going to be an offside on Ben Peaster. After this is the goal, they go from the 2 to the 1. Nothing else changes. 13 seconds on the clock here for the Beef. 45-42. Switch here, Tyler Knight for Kevin Ransom. Could be the first time tonight we see Andrew Jackson lined up under his center. It is Barrett Patrick, his center. Jackson lined up underneath, sends his men to the line, trying to push his weight forward. Flag flies. They're going to say that Jackson crossed the plane and got in. We'll see what the Fleet Farm penalty flag is. But as it stands, that's going to put the Beef up 48-45. Illegal defense on the Bandits. The Beef will score. The Beef will take the lead. There's still 11 seconds remaining. A date with the Salina Liberty in the Champions Bowl next week is on the line. Right now it's in the hands of the Beef. They're going to review the previous play. Make sure that Andrew Jackson crossed that line to gain. This could, at this point, if you're the Bandits, do you want this overturned? Obviously, taking points off the board would nice, but it could just take more time off the clock. And when you got 3 more plays from the 1 yard line, do you trust an offensive play to answer, or do you trust your defense to stand tall at the goal line? Having to answer these questions, there's a reason I'm up here wearing a headset, hypothetically speaking. And guys like Irv Strobene, Marlon Loban, Jared DeGeorgia are making those decisions down on the field for these Sioux City Bandits. Referees now returning from the locker room. Play on the field stands as called. It is a touchdown for the Beef, 48-45 with 11 seconds remaining, pending this Jeremy Williams extra point. Williams gets it up and good off the inside upright. That puts the Beef up 4. The Bandits need a touchdown. Make sure you see what the Bandits have drawn up here coming out of this. This situation, the score line, the time left is not exactly perfect, but is eerily reminiscent of the last time these two teams met. Is lightning going to strike twice in Sioux City for the Bandits, or are the Beef going to go to back-to-back Champions Bowls with a rematch with the Salina Liberty? Liberty won their game over the Outlaws 26-14. Another dominant defensive performance by the Liberty as they held the Outlaws scoreless through the first 3 quarters. 11 seconds remaining in the fourth. Damon Powell, Fred Bruno, 2 of the shiftiest, 2 of the biggest play threats on the Bandits right now, are back at their own end zone. Jeremy Williams is going to put his boot into this one. Is he going to try to kick it short and run extra time off the clock? We'll wait and see. Does go short. Bounce to the 25. Into the hands of Fred Bruno. 10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Bruno's got some space off the right side, trying to get to the midfield stripe. Whistle blows, and then he's thrown to the ground. No late call. And the Bandits got 5 seconds. Basically, you got one play. What do you draw up? You're 26 yards from the end zone. You got one of the most successful quarterbacks in indoor football in the last half-decade. In the last decade total, excuse me. Times like this, you wish you had Brandon Shepard. Can the Bandits offense pivot? They need a big one. 26 yards, 5 seconds. You can't really risk throwing it short. You got the timeouts, but you can't risk too much time coming off the clock. Sammy Epps, the tallest wide receiver on the active roster for the Bandits, lines up on the line of scrimmage. Beef are playing base. They're not really playing prevent. Brown takes the snap. Flag on the play. That's going to be a false start. Back him up 5 more yards. You go from 26 yards to 31 yards. Still in the range of quarterback Lorenzo Brown, but it gets a little tougher. .31 yards, 5 seconds, 4-point game. And you put the ball in the hands of number 8, Lorenzo Brown. I said earlier, pressure creates diamonds. And Brown's going to call the timeout. Brown wants to talk to his offensive coordinator, Jared DeGeorgia, one more time. That play clock was winding down as well, as it just seemed like the Bandits couldn't get set in their right position. My blood pressure is through the roof right now. I'm not going to lie to you fans at home. 49-45, Bandits trail the Beef. 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Winner faces Salina in the Champions Bowl. This feels like a role reversal almost of last time these teams met. It was the Beef that were down by a score with under 10 seconds remaining. And now it's flipped the script to the Bandits. Can the Bandits pull through where the Beef could not last time these teams met? Or will we get a reversal of roles here in Sioux City? The Tyson Event Center is on their feet. 10 seconds left on the play clock. And the Bandits are going to call another timeout. That's their last one. Now, realistically, you got to go to the end zone. You can't play it short to try to get a few yards. You have no timeouts. Excuse me, that timeout was taken by the Beef. Disregard, retcon, whatever you want to say, the last 10 seconds of what I just said. 49-45, though, is your score. That has not changed. There's been 5 seconds on the clock for what feels like 5 minutes. For those players on the field, it probably feels like 5 hours. A date with the Champions Bowl is on the line. Brown and the Bandits break the huddle. 10 seconds left on the play clock now as it's been winding down. That's stack formation. Brown takes the snap, fires quick left side, incomplete. Still got time. Brown telling his men to hustle up, get in the huddle. Let's get this play drawn up. 3 seconds remaining now, 49-45. For all intents and purposes, this is the last play of the game, and it is the last play for one of these teams' seasons. And the Beef could take a timeout, their last timeout. It's just one of those tense moments here in the CIF. There's always tense moments in this Beef Bandits rivalry. Bandits lead the all-time series dating back to 2002, 23-22. But the Beef have never lost in the playoffs when these two teams have met, including last season. Brown in the shotgun, takes the snap. This is it. He's looking deep down the field. He's got a couple men down there, ball up high. And it's knocked away, and that's going to do it. The Omaha Beef, for the second year in a row, have ended the season of their bitter rival Sioux City Bandits and are advancing to the Champions Bowl to take on the Salina Liberty. It's a fantastic season for the Bandits, one that saw them secure the #1 overall seed. One that saw them go 9-1 in the regular season, but unfortunately for Sioux City, it ends in the semifinals of the CIF playoffs, 49-45. Take a quick break here on the CIF Network. We're going to come back with the Bandits post-game show in a couple minutes, so don't go anywhere. This has been Sioux City Bandits football on the CIF Network. Welcome back, everyone, here in Sioux City, Iowa, in the Tyson Event Center. This is the Sioux City Bandits post-game show here on the CIF Network, as the Bandits' season has unfortunately come to an end here on their home field. 49-45 here in the semifinals of the CIF playoffs, as they have fallen to their rival, the Omaha Beef, for the second season in a row, having their season end in the semifinals by the Omaha Beef. The Beef will move on to the Champions Bowl. They will take on the Salina Liberty. That game will take place down in Salina, Kansas next week. But for right now, let's talk about the game we had here today. Before I get into that, something maybe to lighten the mood a little bit, considering what has happened for the Bandits faithful on the field, the energy in the Tyson Event Center right now and everything else. It is Father's Day weekend. I know I mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast. I'd just like to reiterate again that being Father's Day weekend, if you got a father in your life, a father figure in your life, just somebody who you're able to look up to, let them know that you do look up to them, how they have changed your life. I've quite frankly been blessed. I'm lucky enough to have two men in my life who have been great father figures to me, my biological father, Ted Butler, and of course my stepfather as well, Levi Griffin. Both men at different points in my life have been with me to push me, to make me better. I wouldn't be here without either of them. I know both of them listen to today's game. Hopefully they're listening now, because without them I wouldn't be here. And I have no idea how I would have got here. Without their guidance, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'm forever thankful from the bottom of my heart to both of them. I got much love to both of them. So Happy Father's Day for this weekend. Maybe a sad moment for Sioux City Bandits fans and Sioux City Bandits players. But maybe that can turn it around, so to speak, his Father's Day weekend, as we try to celebrate despite the heartache on the field. Now into some player stats in this game. Andrew Jackson, I talked about him early on as the most prolific quarterback statistically in the CIF, and he proved it again. 18 for 25, 227 yards, 5 touchdowns for Jackson, as well as a rushing touchdown as well late in the game that put the Beef up in this fourth quarter. His counterpart, Lorenzo Brown, didn't have a bad game himself. 9 for 17, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, unfortunately 2 picks. And those mistakes might have been the difference maker, especially down the stretch. In the rushing game for the Bandits, Drew Prohaska led the way with 29 yards on 5 carries, 9 carries and 28 yards for Fred Bruno, as well as 2 touchdowns. Cass and Brown also double digits in rushing yards with 19 and 16, respectively, as well as a rushing touchdown for Lorenzo Brown. In the receiving game, the leading receiver receptions-wise was Fred Bruno, 4 catches for 37 yards, 1 touchdown. The leading receiver yardage-wise was Damon Powell, 2 catches for 54 yards, 1 touchdown. On the other side of things, Montero Dubose led the way for the Beef, 99 yards on 6 catches, 2 of those for 6. Alexander Noble had 3 catches for 27 yards, 2 of those for 6. And Norman Darden had a few fumbles in the first half. We saw him kind of phased out early in the first half, came back in the second half, ended up having 6 catches, 45 yards, as well as 4 carries for 12 yards. Looking on the defensive end of things, Brendan Holmes led the Beef in tackling with 8, followed by Trey Dudley-Giles and Carl Bivens, who had 7 and 6. As for the Bandits, Tyler Knight, Superman, in his return to Sioux City, led the team with 8 total tackles, 5 of them solo. Ben Peaster got in the backfield for a sack as he continued his second game of the season suiting up for the Bandits. He had a sack in each of them. Turnovers were forced by the Bandits defense. A couple fumble recoveries, one by Tyler Knight, one by LaRonji Vase. But unfortunately for the Bandits at the end of the night, it just wasn't enough for the Bandits. You got to hope you can reload. You got to bring as many of these pieces back as you possibly can. Reload, rerun next season. Fortunately, it is a long off season before we get to see the Bandits again. As for the Beef, they get to keep dancing. They are now 9-3 on the year. The 4th seed gets to go to the Champions Bowl. They go down to Salina, Kansas to take on the Liberty next week as we get to crown our 2022 CIF champion then, as the Bandits and their chase for another ring, their first since 2015, ends here on the doorstep of the Champions Bowl. I'd like to thank you all for joining me all season. I'd like to thank the Bandits organization for giving me the opportunity to do this all season, talk to you all listening at home, because at the end of the day, without y'all, I'm just a guy in a headset talking to myself about football. And even at the end of the day, I'd love doing that too. Sioux City Bandits have been fun to watch this season. The organization has been nothing but kind and helpful throughout everything. Big thank you to all of them as the season ends here, and congratulations to the Omaha Beef as they move on to the Champions Bowl for the second season in a row against the Salina Liberty. That's going to do it for this broadcast of Sioux City Bandits football. Hopefully we can all meet again next season here on the CIF Network. And until then, I want you all at home. It's going to be a long off season. Stay safe. Be good people. We're out.